Kickoff end over end. Berrios gets it just inside the end zone. He's got some steam. He's got a hole past the 30. He is off to the races. Braxton Berrios. Nobody in front of him. Berrios is going to score. Braxton Berrios. No flags on the play.
I woke up this morning, got myself done. Mama always said I'd be there.
Play action, bootleg out to the right. He's got room to run. Setting up, looking downfield. He's going to heave a bomb for Corey Davis at the goal line. Into the end zone. He's got it.
Bro, I was sweating. I brought my girlfriend. I was pouring water on her because she was dying. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, I looked over at her. She had water dripping off her legs. I didn't realize it was water at first. And I'm like, oh my God, you're sweating that bad? And she's like, no, I just dumped water on myself. But, yeah, at least we didn't have to wait for the buses, man. I saw some people posting yesterday that training camp, people were waiting for the damn buses, man.
Oh, man.
I was like, training camp starts in 20 minutes, and these buses haven't even gotten out there yet to these people. I would have been damn walking. Call an Uber real quick from, get me down to the next light. But, yeah, so let's get into some of the stuff that we did see. Obviously, we know what happened with Zach. We've seen the reports of the 2 to 4 week recovery. I think that's a little too hopeful for me. I think that 2 to 4 weeks is rough. He's got to get laparoscopic surgery on that meniscus, and they still have to go in and see what type of more damage. It could be different news. It could be better. I'm expecting the worst, but I don't see him coming in before the Cincinnati game. That's my opinion. I mean, I know the Ravens game is 4 weeks out, but I think that you got to have some football time after your doctor clears you to play football. And I say a week to feel yourself out and then a week to game plan. So I'm looking at week 3 the earliest. But I'm not a doctor, bro. My wife's in the medical field, but she touched on it a little bit, but she's no, surgeon either. So, I'm hopeful that he's there for week 1 just because I want to have this, the kid out there and see what he's got. But at the same time, I want to make sure we got him for the future and not just a week 1 opener. I think he's capable. He supposedly had a great practice yesterday. He was 16 for 19. He threw a pick, but he threw. He moved the ball. I heard he was zinging it around there. So, and hey, a revenge game's always nice. He knows the AFC North. He played there for 10 years. He's a veteran. He can sling it around. I know I'm a little bit older, and Petey will attest to this one too. But I see a lot of similarities in what we got from Testaverde, a guy with a strong arm, a guy coming from Baltimore. A guy with an Italian last name. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but hey, I'm going to say it. But, the guy's got some experience and a strong arm, and maybe this is how we can see and really evaluate our receivers with a guy who can get him the ball. But obviously, Zach looks like he had a little bit of struggling with that interception, man. He locked into Corey Davis. He's got to make the better decisions because even if the linebacker who picked it off wasn't reading his eyes, it was still a bad throw. Corey had the guy up his ass. So it was 2 guys, bad pass. Not to harp on it, but he's got to make better decisions cerebrally. When he rolled out of the pocket, obviously we shouldn't probably had him out there with Max Mitchell and Chuma Doga on the ends, but he did roll out. That's the quarterback we drafted, somebody who's athletic, who's able to run around and get outside. Just got to make those better decisions in your preseason game. I know he's a hungry guy and he just threw a pick and wanted to show his guys that he's there to fight. But lived to play another down and he should have ran out of bounds. But hey, it's neither here nor there. It was a non-contact injury. Could happen in practice, just like Beckham when he got his foot stuck in the turf. So I don't want to harp on Zach too long, but I think he can make a little smarter plays and maybe having Joe out there. I trust that he's going to be good against the Ravens, and I think we can still win it as long as our offensive line shows up with Dwayne Brown and Font, which we'll touch on him too. And we ground and pound, smash mouth football. I think we can beat them. But Benny, what do you think, man? Sorry, I'm talking forever, Benny.
Nah, bro. I feel you. Obviously, we all know as of now the surgery. Well, Zach is in LA, probably going to have the surgery sometime tomorrow. And the 2 to 4 weeks starts after that surgery. Obviously, coach said it. They don't know. They could obviously find more damage while they're in doing the surgery, but they're optimistic that it shouldn't be that. I think that 2 weeks is a long shot. I think it's more likely going to be the 4 weeks with the bone bruise and obviously slight meniscus tear. And I think week 1 is completely out of the realm. There's no obviously he could be ready at that 4-week period, but then there still has to be a period of where he's able to gain that confidence, gain the strength back, get over the mental hurdle of like, if I make that same move again, am I going to get hurt? You know what I'm saying? And obviously getting the reps back, getting the repetition with those wide, like that. Yeah, the repetition with the wide receivers, doing all that stuff, that's going to take a little bit there too. So obviously that 4 weeks, and then you got to give it at least another week for him to get fully back into playing shape and all things like that. Granted, I think we have I forgot who said it the other day, but it's true. We have a top 5 backup quarterback in this league, and a quarterback who's done it, been there, and did it. So granted, I think if Flacco has the opportunity to play week 1, it's not something that we should just totally write off and be like, screw it, that's just going to be an L. So I think we should give Zach all the opportunity that he needs to get healthy. Me personally, I think he makes it back for that week 2 game against the Browns, and that's cool with me.
Yeah, I think, like you said, too, getting the confidence back is a big thing, but also game planning. I mean, he's got to get back and do the reps for the game plan for the game. So he can't just be like, all right, good, you're good this week. Your doctor cleared you Wednesday, and let's roll with you on Sunday. I think you should have a full week with the team to say, okay, we're going to game plan for the Browns, and we're going to utilize these plays. I think you should be there for an entire game, an entire week of preparation for the next opponent. I don't know how they work, with the with the game planning, but that would be my guess, is to be there for an entire week to prepare for that opponent. So that's why I'm saying week 3. Benny's thinking week 2, but that's my opinion. But maybe we can go around the room and get a feeling. How's everybody feeling about Joe Flacco against the Ravens? So we'll just go around and tell me if you think that he even has a chance to win the game. For if he's playing week 1 against the Ravens. I think he does, because I think we're going to rely on these short passes regardless, and the running game with the tight ends and the screens and utilizing the strengths. I don't think I think we ground and pound him, and Flacco can open up the defense and throw it, down the field 3 or 4 times, bomb it out to keep the defense honest. But I think we should just take it at him. Am I confident enough that our offensive line is going to be there? That's another story. I want to see what Dwayne Brown looks like in practice and in the next preseason game. But, George Font over to the right, we know what he could do over there. I'd rather see him on the left side, but I don't want to see what Dwayne Brown could do on the right side, because there's no tape even on it. So I think that was the right move, moving him to the right. I wasn't happy about moving Font up the left, because I like him over there, but I'd rather him be over there than Dwayne. So I think that we have a good offensive line still. I mean, nobody's afraid of a 37-year-old left tackle. Somebody was telling me the other day, nobody's afraid of Joe Flacco being 37 years old out there either. But experience is nothing you can't shake your head at either. The guy's been there. They know what they're going to expect and what they can do. And the guy is a Pro Bowler and a Super Bowl champion with Flacco and Dwayne Brown. So let's go around the room and let me know how you're feeling comfortable about Joe Flacco starting week 1. And you're going to write it off as a loss now if you thought we were going to win with Zach, or are you still comfortable with us winning it? Or is it still a loss even if we had Zach regardless? So, Benny, what do you think? We think we got a shot with Flacco?
Granted, I think with Flacco having the experience of playing in AFC North, he knows what it takes to win. And there was when he was at the podium yesterday, he was asked about it, like, "Oh, have you thought about that possible revenge game week 1?" And he laughed at it, but he said, obviously I thought about it a little bit. People act when they're playing these like games. They act like they're cool, like it don't matter, but it actually does matter. So him coming with that revenge, obviously, if you guys remember correctly, when they drafted Lamar Jackson, Joe Flacco was still the quarterback, and they kind of wrote him off. So obviously there's probably going to be a little bit of a chip on his shoulder to prove that he still could do it, that obviously Lamar's a better player by far at this point. But I don't know, just still give him another shot. So I think it was going to be a close game regardless. I think Flacco's a smart quarterback. He's not going to see anything from the defense that he hasn't seen before. In some weird shape or form, it might even give us a better opportunity to win. But that's just my opinion. Obviously, we're going to go around the room. Go ahead, Petey.
Good morning, guys. How are you,
morning,
Justin,
PD.
Benny? What's up, everybody? Mark, Torres, all the faithful listeners. I'm exhausted with this. Hang on, Gio. 1 second. Yes, regular seatbelt. I just put my kid in his booster seat, so he's all feeling like a big boy. Anyway, you're not going to get in trouble. Sorry, guys. But I'm just sick of this whole thing. Like, I get it. Flacco, they gave him guaranteed money. This is what he's here for in case Zach gets hurt. And I don't want to get into it because it's been exhausting. I'm just disappointed in how Jet fans are ready to write off Zach Wilson. I'm just really disappointed from what I'm hearing. I mean, we spent the whole offseason praising this guy for the work. He's going Jets West, whatever. And now people are ready. If he was out for the year, people were ready to move on from him. It's a joke. And I can't name specific people because there's too many, but I've heard a lot of stuff, and I'm not trying to be controversial. Everybody's got their opinion. I get it. We want to all win, but the Jets built their team around Joe Douglas built the Jets around Zach Wilson. They didn't get Garrett Wilson because of, Joe Flacco or Mike White. They got Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall because of Zach Wilson. They got Lakeland Tomlinson to protect Zach Wilson. So this whole narrative, whatever, I don't want to get into it, Justin. I'm sorry. I'm going to end, but do I think the Jets have a chance? Yes. I would rather see Zach out there, but it's, that everybody's saying 4-0 with Flacco. I mean, people are killing us for the whole thing about, having the toughest schedule, and Jet fans are already saying 4-0 when we won 4 games last year. I mean, come on, man. But have a great day, everybody.
Yeah, nah. Oh, go ahead, Justin. My bad.
No, go ahead, Benny.
Yeah, nah. It's just you hit it right on the nail, PD. I found it kind of crazy how he threw one pick. Granted, it was an ugly pick, but I think there's reasons behind that pick. Honestly, I think not to get too deep into it, but if you really watch, obviously we know the our 2 starting tackles were not in the game. So I think they nailed it into Zach's head. Did not try to make the play downfield, get it and let it go. Get it and let it go. Granted, I think it was a mistake where he got it. He was like, all right, I'm just going to fucking throw it to Corey regardless and let it go. But that's just me. I just think they didn't want him sitting back for too long. But I just think it's amazing. He threw one pick. He got hurt on a natural play. He's an athlete. That's a natural move that we've seen him do plenty of times. And it just happened that he got hurt this one time. He didn't get hurt because of the tackles. He didn't get hurt because it was a natural play. It was a fucking freak injury. That is unfortunate for us Jets fans, and obviously more important, unfortunate for him. But it's just amazing how we spent this whole offseason being all hype, grand. We got a bunch of weapons. We got everything for Zach. Zach's busting his ass. He throws one pick and it's like, oh, he's fucking trash. Let's roll with Joe Flacco forever. Like no, that's not realistic, and that's not fair to Zach, where he's shown a lot of good things throughout training camp and everything like that. He just needed to get the reps. First time seeing a different defense. So it's unfortunate, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that completely, Benny. He's made that same exact cut. I was at the game when he did it against Jacksonville when he ran for that 53-yard touchdown. It was the same exact cut. He made the same exact cut when he scored a touchdown against Houston. That's who we drafted, guys. We drafted a quarterback who's going to try to juke people out their shoes, and he can do it. He's been doing that since he's 7 years old, and he put pads on. That's the player he is. But as far as not blaming the tackles, Benny, I got to disagree with you there. He wouldn't have had to run out of the pocket if Max Mitchell didn't get blasted off the line first, as soon as it happened. But at the same time, he's going to have to scramble. He's not going to go the whole season without scrambling out of pocket. People miss assignments, and people get beat. But I think that getting to his head about the ripping the ball quick with the interception, I agree with you 100% there. But you got some hands up, so we're going to keep it going. Defense, what's up, bro?
What's up, y'all? Good morning, y'all. But
Good morning, bro.
Yeah, I'll be quick, but there's a couple things that I want to mention. Like, first and foremost, I want everybody to know, like, I'm happy that we're in this situation. Like I said it last night, if it was an ACL, man, we all were sick to our stomach when we seen this kid holding his knee and fell to the ground. Like when he collapsed, I was convinced, right? So I'm just glad we're having this situation. But at the end of the day, we as a fan base, we have to trust Joe Douglas, right? We rave about Joe Douglas, the type of trades that he makes, the type of veterans he went out and signed. Well, Joe Flacco is one of them, right? And he's here for one reason and one reason only. It's to protect Zach Wilson in situations like this, right? So to answer the question, do we have a chance to beat Baltimore? We had a great chance with Zach Wilson, and we have a great chance with Joe Flacco. Because there's one thing that we're not really talking about, myself included, because I wanted to stay away from looking into Baltimore stats and stuff like that throughout the whole offseason. But after preseason, like, I could smell football. So I started to look at their defense, right? Yeah, they got the #1 run defense. But I think with Breece Hall and this offensive line and Michael Carter, we can kind of challenge that. But there's something that I found out in the morning today. They have the worst pass defense, worse than us last year. They're 32nd in passing yards allowed. Their secondary is awful, right? So they just went and got Kyle Hamilton, a rookie. Regardless if it's Zach or Joe Flacco, we got to use the run and then open up this pass game, attack that rookie. He looks horrible, right? Hamilton, he doesn't look too good, right? We got tight ends. We got even Denzel Mims was fucking smoke his, you know what I mean? Excuse my language. But that's what I'm saying, man. We have a great chance week 1 with Joe Flacco. And before I land, like a jet, I was looking at some of Joe Flacco's stats. Now, I'm not a fan of him, right? But listen to this, man. Ever since the Super Bowl, these stats are from 2013. This doesn't include a Super Bowl, right? This man has a 62% completion percentage. What Jet quarterback have we ever seen other than Pennington with a 62.6 completion percentage, right? This isn't a small sample size, 23,000 yards. He's got way more touchdowns than interceptions. That's something that Fitzpatrick couldn't say, and neither could McCown. This dude got 125 passing touchdowns and only 88 interceptions, right? That's a good ratio. Well, decent. Now, his last thing is his quarterback passer rating. He's 82.8. When's the last time we've seen a quarterback with an 82.8 passer rating? So to answer the question, man, Joe Flacco can get it done. And then long story short, I pulled up his stats from just 2018. So 5 years, 18, 19, 20, 21, 4 years, right? The dude has a completion percentage of 61.7. Once again, more touchdowns and interceptions, 27 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 5,000 yards. The man's barely played, and he got a quarterback rating of 85.4. He's actually done better in the passer rating in the last 4 years than he did in the past 9 since the Super Bowl. So to answer this question, man, there's a lot of negativity going around amongst our fan bases in these spaces. But we all praise Joe Douglas, right? He's a great GM. Don't you think Joe Douglas knows these stats that I'm reading to you guys, that Joe Flacco can get it done to protect Zach Wilson? It's not a competition between Zach and Flacco. Mike White's here for a reason, too. What if something happens to Flacco? At least this kid knows the playbook, right? So what I'm saying, man, is we built this team to win, regardless of the quarterback.
Defense, you're good, right?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So you like Joe Flacco. I want to see some of these stats. I want you to send them to me on the side because there was a lot of stats so people can remember them all. So let's put them up on the post.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think we should all just trust Joe Douglas, man. We have a great GM. This man knows what he's doing. And Zach Wilson, I'm the biggest. I love Zach Wilson. I just don't want to see him rushed into week 1. Let's let his knee heal and put him out there week 2 or 3.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And I like the strength of the arm. And as far as Baltimore secondary being weak, I don't think they are anymore. I mean, Kyle Hamilton, like you said, is a rookie, but they did revamp a lot of the guys. They got Marcus Williams back there now, too. I think that they're going to have a better secondary than they did last year. They obviously making strides to make their team better, just like every other team in the NFL. And I think that their offseason moves for that secondary is going to be a change for them. So I'm a little nervous about Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, Kyle Fuller. They have some guys back there that we're going to have to game plan for. So yeah, I think they're a little bit better than they were last year, or a lot. But hopefully we can blow up Kyle Hamilton like he's been exposed in camp. But we got a lot of hands, so keep it going. Benny, you have something to say?
Yeah, real quick. Obviously, I know they added Marcus I mean, they have Marcus Peters, they have Marlon Humphrey. Kyle Hamilton sucks in coverage. He's actually, I don't know, he's going to be more of a box safety. Yeah, I don't know. That's just me. He's not great in coverage. I think you got to force the issue there, but let's not be real. Marlon Humphrey is a good cornerback, and I know Jamar Chase is a top 5 wide receiver, but he got fried for 200 yards last year. Marlon Humphrey isn't no shutdown corner. He isn't none. He's a really good corner, but he's not something to particularly ride home about and be like, wow, he's going to completely take out Elijah. He's going to completely take out Garrett Wilson. That's not going to happen. And Marcus Peters is coming off an ACL injury, and he's 30-something years old. Who the hell knows how he's going to come back and return? He's getting older. He's not the same shutdown corner he was anymore either. So I know their secondary has names. I just think, granted, they're not going to be as fantastic as what we're thinking. Because, Marcus Peters has always been a freaking really good cornerback. So it's going to be hard for Elijah Moore. No. Marcus Peters has a fucking fresh off of ACL, and he's 34 years old. Like, that's the difference there. But that's just me. Obviously, we're going to keep going around the room. Go ahead, Mark.
Hey, good morning, fellas. How you doing?
Chilling, bro. Chilling. What's up, Mark?
Hey. Yeah, so if the initial question is Joe Flacco, the Joe Flacco-led Jets against the Ravens, I see 3 keys to that game with Joe Flacco under center. The first, Justin, you hit it right on the head, O-line. They have to look like a cohesive unit for Joe Flacco to have a chance because Joe can't scramble where Zach can. So they need to be able to stand up for Joe, allow him to step up in the pocket and deliver the football. That's key number 1. Key number 2, the defense. We all know that the Jets sat 5 starters on defense, 5 key starters against the Eagles, and the defense looked atrocious as a result. But then, obviously, as we started seeing 2s on 2s and 3s on 3s, they started to come alive. So we'll have to see what they do against the Falcons because Salah's already on record saying that Mosley will be back, Lawson will be back. I think we'll see what the defense really can look like against the Falcons in that second preseason game. And the third key, and this one is really important, it's a home game. My third key to the game is the fans, the fan base. If the fans show up and show out and make it loud and show support for the team and use the home field advantage, that can have an impact on the results of that game. And then lastly, and I'll be very brief on this point because I think Petey hit the nail on the head. About Zach, there are times when I think the fan base can help the team and times when the fans can hurt the team because I was present in the space last night. And I'll just say this. The press, YouTubers, fans from other fan bases, they are present and they're lurking in the Jet Lounge and elsewhere. And I think that this narrative of some kind of split around these 2 quarterbacks, it can be a dangerous narrative for the team. I can make that case at length, but I'm not going to, there's so many people that want to speak, so I'm not going to do that. But I would encourage fans to support Zach in the lounge and elsewhere. This is his team.
I love it. And that was something that Anthony was touching on yesterday about the change of culture. Isn't just the change in culture on the organization, it's the change of culture in fans. A lot of us older guys, obviously, would say same old Jets, same old Jets. The young guys, they didn't experience that same old Jets yet. So let's give them a shot to say that we can be a good football team and support the players we have. Support the name in the front of the jersey first and foremost. But, these guys, they're human beings. Beckman's got a family. He's trying to bust his ass to get back. Call him and bust and stuff. You got to support your guys, that's, I agree with you 100% with that, but keep the hands going. We got, let's see, Steve, Cap, Petty, then Joey. So go ahead, Steve.
Hey, good morning, guys. One great thing about the lounge, right, is it's not just a bunch of Homer fans, throwing shit against the wall. The amount of intelligent conversation and excellent points, whether it's Mark just now or defense, it's really refreshing. It's better than, these callers on sports radio. So my hat's off to all of you with that. yeah, I still think we have a chance. You know, I don't think it's any better or any worse than it was before Friday night. You know, to Mark's point, um, you know, the O line, we do lose the scramble, you know, but the O line's got to do their part because, yeah, while there's plenty of question marks with their secondary, you know, the first 3 out of 4 weeks of the season, we're playing some pretty damn good pass rushers. You know, whether it's Miles Garrett or TJ Watt or what Baltimore's got now, and I forget their names. But so that's key number one. Number two, as far as the defense, regardless of who's under center for us, we got to stop their run game. You know, and it starts with Lamar, whether you're keeping a spy or whatever. Dobbins should be back. You know, the Ravens are the model for that run first. Well, maybe San Fran too nowadays. But, you know, if they can, if our left and right tackle, you know, can do their part so Flacco could get the ball out to whomever he's going to get the ball out, and our defense could shut down or limit the run game, yeah, we've got a chance. I mean, you know, I'm one of the older guys around. There's been so many games where nobody, maybe even me sometimes, didn't give the Jets a chance. I remember we flew across the country once for a playoff game, and nobody gave us a chance against a 14-2 Charger team, and we kicked their fucking teeth in. So yeah, we got a chance.
Oh yeah, nah. You made fantastic points there, and especially week one, it's going to be a battle of the trenches. I wrote an article on that. Aside from the one I just wrote, I wrote a past one about what we're going to be facing in AFC North, and especially the first 2 weeks. But since we're talking about the Ravens week one, it's going to be a battle of the trenches. Obviously, they have a pretty good run defense. They have a pretty stout defensive line, but especially it's going to be even more important now with Joe Flacco there. Where it's like we need to dominate the line of scrimmage. We need to run the ball. Like we can't allow pressure up the middle because Joe Flacco ain't going to save nobody with a scramble drill. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a matter of if our offensive line is able to hold up and create these rushing lanes for an explosive. I think we've seen it for a player too, with Breece Hall, where he was able to bounce out and absolutely explode. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's not something we're necessarily used to. Complimenting Michael Carter too, who obviously we know doesn't go down after the first hit. And obviously, granted, we didn't start anybody really on our defense for preseason week one, but we have to stop the Ravens running game. Their whole offense is predicated on that running game with Dobbins, Lamar Jackson, all these guys. So we know their wide receivers aren't, sorry to say it, but their wide receivers ain't shit. And they lost one of their wide receivers in their first preseason game, who's probably going to miss week one. So they're already very thin at that position. So we have to crowd the line.
Who did they lose? My bad. Who did they lose?
They lost. Fuck, like
Crochet.
It was Crochet. Yeah. So I don't know. We have to crowd the line of scrimmage, and it's all about controlling that. So obviously, we're going to touch on the line of scrimmage with Wayne Brown and Fan and all that stuff in a little bit. But yeah, Justin, you have something to say, or should we keep going right now?
No, I keep going. I think it's Cap, then Petty, then Joey.
All right, Cap, Petty, Joey.
I'll say this. I think, if anything, I'm going to go a little bit on the reverse side. I think he gives us a really good chance to win that game. Like, better. And I'm not going to say better, but just as good as a chance as Zach. And just because of the fact that Flacco knows his limitations, he's also seen enough to set protections the right way where a guy like Zach might say, all right, the linebacker's coming. Let me try to get outside of him, or let me try to do something else, where Flacco will keep that protection in there. I think he gives us a better chance to win. I'm not going to say better. I'm going to say the odds are just as good. I don't think it hurts us in the least. I said it a few days ago. I think Joe Flacco is a top 5 backup in this league. And we're in a really good situation with having him there.
Yeah, Benny was touching on that before. He was trying to remember who said he was a top 5 backup, but you know what? It was you. I remember hearing you in another space saying that. But yeah, he's been there. He's like you said, he knows his limitations. Obviously, we've seen a lot of quarterbacks that are the great ones that didn't use their legs. Brady, Manning, Montana was decent with it, but like these are the best ones I've ever seen in my life, and they were more stay in the pocket and know what the defense was giving them, and not trying to make the play themselves.
And I think his experience, you can't sleep on the fact of how much experience the man has and what he's seen,
Yeah, he's played some elite defenses with the Pittsburgh Steelers, with Palomalu with these crazy plays, and excuse me, playing in that division itself, and obviously the playoff run where he's a Super Bowl champ. So he's seen some he's seen some defenses thrown at him. So he's got the experience, and I think he gives us a great chance with having that mind. With experience and knowing what the plays are going to be thrown at him. And like I said before, he's got those safety blankets at the tight ends. He's got the guys who can get out into a flat tunnel screens and what have you, jet sweeps with Elijah Moore and Braxton Berrios. I think that he's going to be fine. I just want to see Zach out there. I just want to see what he could do, just so we can move forward with our team and know what we're going to have for the future. But I know we don't need a quarterback who's coming off of a knee surgery and knowing that he can go down and be done for the rest of the year, God forbid his career, because he came back too soon. So my opinion, one game is what it is. Rather be.
Hey, Justin, I have one question, and then I'm going to bump down to listener.
Go ahead.
Did Zach wear the knee brace when he got back from the injury last year for the rest of the season?
Yep.
He did.
So he had it on the whole time. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's good to know.
And I'm sure I expect him to have it back on as soon as he comes back. I mean, I'm looking at a picture right now from when he played Tennessee. Was that before the injury?
Yeah, before.
That was before. Okay, yeah, 'cause I'm looking at the picture. He don't have one on there, but I think it was after. I remember him having it because he had it underneath his pants, and his pants looked bulky. He had one leg that was bulky. It's the same knee, right knee. But yeah, what's up, Petty? Thanks, Cap.
Yeah, so with this, it's just like I wanted to see Zach, and unfortunately, it's not going to happen in week one because Benny's right. When they're doing Benny and you were right. When you're doing the knee scope, it's going to take at least 2 weeks for him to be able to get back on his feet, just doing regular stuff, and then another 2 weeks for him to. They're probably going to ramp up his rehab to be able to have him ready for at least being able to practice at some level week one, and then hopefully be back by week two. I'm aiming for week two as well, but Joe Flacco is uniquely qualified to handle our first 4 weeks because he's been in that division for his entire career up until recently. So he knows exactly what Mike Tomlin does. Um, he knows his old former head coach and what his defenses are typically like. So he's going to be able to manage the first 4 weeks, but like at least he's also going to be able to manage the growth of some of these young players that we want to see grow as well. But I get the feeling that our running game is going to be a huge factor in how we move forward. I know that Baltimore has a really good run defense, but I think our offensive line can like neutralize that, and then it'll be our running backs that make the difference. Because I think overall, talent wise, our running backs are better. I think their line is what makes their running backs as good as they are. Because you had Gus Edwards going crazy, you had J.K. Dobbins, and then I forgot who the other guy was that ended up getting injured. But you have a bunch of guys that can just run, and then of course their ultimate factor is Lamar Jackson, who's like dangerous. So it forces everybody to watch him, and then keep one eye on the running backs. But you have to always watch Lamar Jackson. But with Joe Flacco, you're going to be able to get a guy who fully understands the AFC North, and you're not going to be worried about it. I think you have a good enough chance to win that game because of his just familiarity with that team altogether.
Yeah, great points. I just see him coming back in a home game with Cincinnati, getting that extra time with any type of rehab trainers and whatever, not making the crazy trips with the team, doing what they got to do in Cleveland. But I don't know. I'm hopeful that everything's just going to go as planned with his rehab, and when they get him, for this procedure that they don't find something else.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first and foremost thing. And as far as our offensive line being as good as they are, we have to see it. We saw Font yesterday at right tackle, and we're going to see Dwayne today at left tackle. We got to see what these guys can do before we can go saying that. I'm on the same page as you, Petty, but I want to see it first. I got to see what this offensive line looks like before I'm going to say, okay, we're going to run all over anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping for it because obviously we drafted for that. We went high up with a running back because we want to be able to run the ball. We put Michael Carter in as a secondary running back because we want to run the ball. We got Lakin Tomlinson. We want to run the ball and protect Zach. So giving Zach that cushion of a running game is super important to this team. So I want to see what these guys can do before I go anointing us as this powerhouse offensive line. I'm hoping to see it in practice. Obviously, we can go off of what we see at practice, but when we get to Monday night with the Falcons, I'm hoping Brown's ready to play in that one, so we can see him on the field playing.
Yeah, and I'm gonna just throw this one more nugget out there for in regards to the Zach Wilson injury. Is I know some people don't like Connor Hughes. I know that he was tweeting certain stuff like while we were having a meltdown. You know what I'm saying? That people, oh, Sam Darnold's available. Like, shut the fuck up, obviously. But he made a very good point.
I wanted to smack him when he said that, Benny. I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're good. He did end up making a really good point. After the surgery, if it's that 4-week period, still in that 2 to 4 week timetable for his return, I think it would be very smart for the Jets just announce like Zach is out week 1. Like you don't got to keep it up in the air, like whatever, or at least tell Zach, yo, you're not playing week 1, because as long as he believes there's like, oh, I could play week 1. You don't want him cutting any corner during his rehab, pushing himself too far, thinking I need to be 100% healthy by this time. No, I think it's more important. Just tell Zach, like, yo, you're not going to touch the field unless you're 100%. Don't cut any corners. We're going to be okay. Joe Flacco, you already know Joe Flacco is a very capable backup quarterback. He's going to do what he needs to do. So do us a favor and don't shoot for that week 1 deadline. Shoot for a week 2, maybe even week 3 if that's what it takes. But that's just my opinion. I hope that that's what they end up doing. But go ahead, Joey.
What up, boys? All right, so just to piggyback a little on what Benny just said, it wasn't what I was going to say, but I kind of just disagree. And I think with Salah's mentality, like how he wanted Carl Lawson to go all the way up until like the final second before he thought that he was going to play and then found out he didn't. I truly believe he'll do the same with Wilson. So he is, dialed in and gets that experience, like, to prep for a game. So I disagree. I think they'll do that. I don't want him cutting corners, so I get that point. But I don't think Salah will do that. I think it's, crucial because, it sucks. He's missing an incredible amount of joint practices and time, and it's definitely a setback. I see all this bullshit with Flacco and this and that. Sure, he's a capable backup, but I see people saying dumb things, his team, this and that. Come on now. That's just ridiculous in my opinion. But last year, like Wilson got a lot of shit in camp by the beat and everything. This year, the kid's been doing amazing in camp. It's a shame what happened with Becton. That hurts the run game. I didn't want him out there on Friday. We're down 4 tackles in essence. McDermott, Becton, Font, and obviously Brown didn't play. So I'm all about the run. I'm glad he made that run. I want him to make that run every single time. I want him to juke that guy out and take the ball. If you don't want football players to make plays, then you shouldn't play him. You should have had him on the bench. So, that's just kind of how I stand with that. But it's definitely a setback. It's disappointing. But is it like as big of a deal as everyone's making it? No. I think it'll be a big deal if they come out with some worse shit or something. Then that's a terrible deal. But I don't know. I'm pretty optimistic with this. I don't know. I guess this off season, the team. I put 0 weight into anything on that preseason game, good or bad. I see everyone having like meltdowns and shit. But like Christ, man, it's a vanilla offense. I rewatched the interception everyone's crying about 80 times. He threw the ball, not even near Corey Davis. I feel like there was some sort of miscue. Pro Football Focus graded part of the interception on Corey Davis. I know it's PFF, but I actually like some of that shit because I'm not the smartest guy. I definitely don't know what I'm looking at all the time, and I don't pretend like I do, like a lot of people on this fucking app. Yeah, it was an interception. Yeah, his eyes were clearly locked on that spot. He shouldn't have thrown the ball. But, it's like, I don't know. Corey Davis really should have made a more aggressive cut, split those defenders, a million things. There was a guy in the flat. Zach could have thrown the ball to him. Whatever, bro. It's preseason. The kid's learning his arm. Let's not cry about it. Let's not, start flipping over and buying Flacco jerseys and all this wild ass shit. As far as the run game goes, well, the offensive line looked like shit. Max Mitchell held up pretty well as the game progressed. Unfortunately, Wilson rolled out because the pocket collapsed. He got pushed back on the overthrow to Garrett Wilson. He had to throw the ball. He panicked, released a little high. It is what it is. They're all learning, but he's not going to be out there with Max Mitchell, Chuma Doga, and my Uncle Mickey as fucking tackles. So I think everybody needs to calm down, guys. Everyone's having a heart attack here.
Yeah.
But Jermaine Johnson and Clemens, I think, add amazing talent to that defense. They wouldn't throw out Sauce Gardner. Garrett Wilson had some nice grabs. Our tight ends are fucking dope. We haven't had one since I was in my teens. So, this is optimistic. We'll see. Obviously, everybody's kind of nervous until this stupid surgery and all this shit. But after Salah looked like an asswipe being positive about Becton, he's going to be a little coy and hold back. So,
for sure. He's definitely going to be careful with his words with that, Joe. He has to. He especially with what just happened. What a week before? Literally, not even a week. It was 4 days before with Becton. So, I feel that he's got to watch what he says because people trusted what he said. I mean, last year we trusted what they were saying, our medical staff, about Becton being back so quick, and obviously we know what happened. So they have to be careful what they say. But yeah, I'm glad that you touched a little bit on that. We do have some more hands up. But, we're going to move on to the next segment after we get to the hands. About seeing what you saw in the game, there was some positive stuff. We've been sitting here, muddling through the lack for a better term, the shit about the game. Let's talk about some of the positives and how what we're going to go with. I mean, we're looking at people who are trying to make the team. Calvin Jackson catching the game-winning touchdown. This guy's not even on this rush squad. We'll get to those. But let's get to the hands up. Petty, go ahead, and then Jet Lounge, mysterious speaker. Go ahead, Petty.
So I wanted to piggyback off of it just being Corey Davis. I don't hate Corey Davis. I like him a lot as a number 2, but someone needs to tell Zach that he does not need to force feed his vet because every catastrophic interception has occurred when he's tried to force feed Corey Davis. It's either gone off his hands or someone's just picked it off. It's just when the read is Corey Davis, I feel like he should automatically look somewhere else and then maybe come back to him. But it's just it was frustrating to see because it just took me back to last year, the home opener, where he went after Corey Davis 3 times and all 3 times there was an interception. It's just aggravating.
Yeah, that's such a great point, Petty. I remember the last year preseason with Green Bay, we were all like, "Oh my God, Zach to Corey Davis, this is going to be the best thing since sliced bread." And then the season started, and like you just mentioned, he locks in when he locks into Corey, and I've seen it at training camp a lot when I was there. Corey's open most of the time, but he's got to stop with the drop balls off the top of his hands. I mean, those couple ones that weren't even Zach's fault, he hit him in his hands. And my son's 7 years old, and he plays receiver and tight end for his football team. And his mentality is the ball hits your hands, it's catchable. He's 7 years old. So Corey, I'm sure he knows
damn
that.
right, bro. That is their job. Damn right. If
you know what I'm
your
saying?
hands, catch it, bro. 100%.
If it touches your hands, it's catchable. So
smart kid, bro.
So the couple of those receptions that Zach put it where it needed to be, Corey's got to come down with it. The ones where he's, like Joey was saying before, it might have been a blown up play. Corey missed, didn't curl to the right, we curl to the left, and he shouldn't have thrown it. Like I said before, he locked in on his receivers. The linebacker watched his eyes, and he went right to him. But Petty makes a good point. Look at Elijah. Look at Corey as a decoy. Pump fake it to somebody else, but do something different. I don't know. I can sit here coaching Zach Wilson like I know what I'm talking about. Jet Lounge, go ahead.
I don't want anybody to lose sight of what the questions were last night. That some people are like, oh, everybody's going off the deep end. There were a couple of scenarios that were presented that made people go off the deep end, such as the Jets starting out 3-1 or 4-0 or 6-0. And those are the questions that were presented. It's not like, oh, if Zach Wilson's team good for week 1, should we start him or Flacco? I don't know one Jet fan on earth that would say we should start Flacco. I don't think that's even in the conversation. So I just don't want to lose sight of that conversation, because if you didn't listen to the whole segment, that's all. It was just presented in a different way. It was never just a straight up who should play over the other. There's not even a question about that in my mind.
Unfortunately, I just want to jump in. What I said, I didn't catch the lounge yesterday. What I said is just like this mental throw up I see on like Twitter. And then there's a few people that are probably, somewhere in the South Bronx smoking dope that actually think that. I don't know what it is. Maybe Wilson banged their mom or their wife or something. But, they got a hard on for Flacco or Mike White or whoever this new kid is, whoever the hell he is with the Polish last name. I don't know who the kid is. But, it just comes with being a fan. It comes with this marketplace and this and that. I mean, has anyone even heard about Trevor Lawrence and Fields, 48 and 52%? They scored a touchdown against the 2s and 3s. No, but, Zach Wilson, if he doesn't get hurt on the run, everybody's sucking his nuts. The kid gets hurt on the run, now he shouldn't have ran the ball. Well, what do you want him to be, a garbage pail and sit there? And I'm not saying this to anyone in the room, but fucking Jesus. He's a football player that made a badass football play. Unfortunately, he got hurt. If you didn't want him to make a football play, he shouldn't have fucking been on the field. I mean, that's the reality of it. That's why we didn't play Font. That's why we didn't play Lawson. Well, guess what? Zach Wilson is the most important motherfucker in a green and white uniform. He shouldn't have been out there with Max Mitchell, my Uncle Mickey, and some fat slob blocking for him. That's just how I feel. But all right.
No, you're in agreement with Ray with that. As far as Zach shouldn't have been playing.
You and me only.
Listen.
I get
Zach
killed
needed
for
to
that.
play. Zach needed to play. I don't know, bro. He needed to be out there.
I think he should have been out there too, but at the same time, I see their points.
Oh, he could be out there, but then I just don't want to hear people bitch about, oh, he shouldn't have ran the ball, hero ball, blah, blah, blah. Fucking hero ball. He's QB1.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Joe,
make the damn play. Make the play.
I think at that point, though, you're playing the preseason. You're running out of bounds.
He doesn't know that. That's the thing, bro. He don't know that. You know what I'm saying? He's playing football. He don't know that. He's out there. He's got 90 dudes that are going to watch him just slide, or 90 dudes that could have watched him take it to the crib, rally them up, this and that. That's not what it's about, man. It sucks. The injury sucks.
You got to play smarter in the preseason, man. I'm sorry. I disagree with you there.
No, that's fine. I mean, that's fine. But look, it was a non-contact injury. Now, say he got leveled, right? If he got leveled and truck sticked and hurt, I'd feel that way. But he literally froze the dude, juked him out, made the play, and then, fell over like a sack of potatoes because he hurt himself. He didn't get leveled. So, I mean, that would have happened. What if he maybe they should have goddamn cleaned up the knee last year like they were supposed to? But the Jets medical staff is stellar. That's why Becton's out there. We got a great medical staff. That's ask Quincy and Newman.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with you there. But defense, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a couple of things I want to mention about Zach Wilson because, I love the kid. And I think he did the right play because, man, there's a quote that goes like this: practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice is what makes, perfection. And it's in this kid's DNA to run. Man, as a rookie, he set the all-time Jet franchise record for the longest touchdown run by a quarterback in our franchise history. We never seen a quarterback run that long for a touchdown, right? So with that play, when he rolled out, you know, I've been talking up Max Mitchell, but I'm honest at the end of the day. He got blown up. He looked atrocious, right? So Max Mitchell got blown up. The natural reaction that's in this kid's DNA is let's take off and run, right? And he did the right thing. As soon as he cut on the inside, he was going to dive forward. You know, he did it. But when he cut, he hurt himself, but he can't control that. And the last thing I want to mention is this talk about interceptions. Right? I love statistics. And what statistics has taught me is there's a difference between a small sample size and a big sample size, right? So if we're going to harp over one interception, let's talk about last year, his last 10 games, right? He threw 4 interceptions, right? And I only looked at these stats because Jet fans were driving me crazy talking about this preseason interception. Ain't that when mistakes are supposed to happen? When you practice, that's what preseason is. It's a scrimmage practice. Maybe he was seeing what he could get away with. It was a horrible read. But listen, he threw 1 interception. How many times did he throw the ball? 3? Well, his last 10 games, he threw 4 interceptions. That's a combined 278 passing attempts with only 4 interceptions. That comes down to a ratio of 1 interception every 69.5 times he dropped back. So last year, his last 10 games, he threw 1 interception per every 70 times he dropped back. So that's all I want to say about 1 preseason interception. I'm going to go with the 1 interception per every 70 passing attempts instead of this read that he made in preseason. You know what I mean? So yeah, I love Zach Wilson, man. And I don't like to see him being blamed for running the ball. Like the gentleman just said before me, it was a non-contact injury. He couldn't control it. You know, he could have cut to go out of bounds. He could have cut to go out of bounds. Non-contact injury, you know, and like, he didn't get blown up. He didn't take a hard hit. He does what every smart running quarterback does. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, they all cut. They all take off and run. It's in their DNA. And they all get down without taking the big hit. That's what Zach Wilson did, man. He didn't take no big hit. He did what he's trained to do, what he practices to do. You know, we don't have.
I love the 1 interception per 70 dropbacks defense. I appreciate that statistic, man. That was good.
Boys,
you know,
I'm gonna leave. I just want to say, you know, whoever you are, the defense, I fucking love you, guy. You know football. I appreciate you, bro. You know fucking football.
Yeah, I gave you a follow, man. I give you a follow. And the last thing I want to say, man, is I know stats can be skewed. So yeah, we could say 1 interception per every 70 dropbacks, but he did have like 3 easy interceptions that would drop, 3 or 4 of them, right? So maybe that number goes down to 1 every 62 or 1 every 61. But then on the flip side, he had, I think, 1 or 2 interceptions that was off of a drop, a tip pass. You know what I mean?
He also didn't have any tight ends. Michael Carter, Elijah Moore, and Corey Davis were hurt. So once again, he's out there with my Uncle Mickey and Joey the Plumber. I mean, what the fuck are we talking about, right? I agree with you, bro.
Yeah, and then the last thing I'm going to say, because I don't want to take over the show, but man, I just love everything about what Zach Wilson showed me last year. You know, mistakes are going to happen. But listen to this, man. What were the critics saying when we drafted him? What were all the critics saying? That he was too small to take an NFL hit, right? He was too small. But then I seen the picture with him next to Aaron Rodgers, and I'm like, yo, he's the same exact size as Aaron Rodgers, right? So what I really want to say is this dude was sacked, 44 times? If he wasn't tough mentally and physically, how do you only lose 1 fumble? You're sacked 44 times, and you only lost 1 fumble. Man, this kid has it all, man, and I just can't wait to see him, man. We should all be like celebrating as a fan base right now that it's not his ACL, because you know what's sad? There was a Miami Dolphins Twitter space, right? They really thought it was an ACL, just like us, right? And they made a Twitter space saying, "Is Zach Wilson's injury karma for Jet fans?" Right?
Yeah,
well, guess what?
We're not gonna say talk about the Dolphins.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just
assholes, piece of shit.
Yeah, so I'm just saying it could be much worse, right? It could be fan bases could be making fun of us and really pissing us off. So, man, I'm just thankful that it's a 2 to 4 week injury, maybe 6 weeks. But man, we have a lot to be excited for, man.
Yeah. Good to have you. What's up, Abby?
Oh, good morning. You know, last night, I hope Zach enjoyed the show, and I hope he enjoyed himself, because I've never been so heated in a conversation ever in a long time on these Twitter Spaces. And last night, my steam was coming out of my ears. I'll admit it. Steam was coming out of my ears listening to the nonsense that some people were saying. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really want to repeat too much of myself last night, but I'll just say this. I want Zach Wilson back in when he is 100% healthy and he is good to go. So if that means by week 1, he's not ready to go. Let's say he's at like 85%. I put in Flacco, but I think with this knee injury, it's tricky because I've seen some players. Obviously, guys play through injuries, and I fully expect Zach's going to play through this injury. Pretty much the chunk of the season. So I expect him to get some additional surgery when the season's over because I've seen similar injuries with other players. They play through it, and then when it's the off season, they get off season surgery. So at the end of the day, is Zach really going to be fully 100%? Probably not. He's probably going to have to play through this injury throughout the entire season whenever he gets back. But there's got to be a point, and I agree with what some people said yesterday. When he's ready to return, he's at least got to get a full week of practice. I agree with that. So whenever he's ready to return, got to make sure it's a full week of practice, not, well, he's practiced for one day and we're going to throw him out there. No, we'd like a full week, get him going, get some continuity. The toughest thing about all this with the preseason injury is we wanted to see some continuity. Him with Elijah Moore, because we didn't really get that till the Eagles game. Him and Garrett Wilson, Garrett Wilson's a rookie. We saw, a couple good balls at training camp. Well, there kind of went that in preseason. And him and Conklin, we've been seeing it all training camp. They're building some continuity. And obviously the first preseason game, we saw that too. Little dump pass over the Conklin over the middle. Conklin fights and gets a first down. There kind of goes that too. Obviously Breece Hall and things like that. So that's the thing that kind of sucks for me is that, Justin and I are going, and Chris and Anthony are going to the game on the 22nd. And I was kind of anticipating that, Zach would have been out there because of the joint practice. And the joint practice, I figured would help him as well too. But, there kind of goes that in our plans. So, hopefully when he is 100% ready to go, he gets a nice full week of practice and, he does good with the weapons that are going to be around him this season. But last night, again, Shaq, I hope you enjoyed the show while you were hosting it. I hope you enjoyed me getting heated and my face turning red, not from the sun, but from the conversation. So just shout out to you, Shaq.
There's plenty more to come. I'm sure we're never going to be on the same page with everything. I was a Jets fan. There's going to be some awful takes. There'll be some great takes, and there's going to be some takes that are great that you just don't agree with. It's going to happen. I plan on having this Monday morning show every Monday after a game and listening to people boo-hooing and listening to people cheering and talking out their ass. We're just going to get that from everybody, and that's what's so great about this is, having that outlet. So I missed a lot of the show last night, so I was busy with my daughter not doing well. But Joey and Clark, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, what's going on? I have to, and I usually don't agree with Happy, but I 100% agree with him in this case. I need to see if we have a quarterback. As much as I thought about it in the beginning, I thought, if Flacco starts off and he goes 3-0, I said, you know what? No, I need to see Zach play as many games as possible. I mean, I let them play a whole season, but we know he's going to start off the season hurt. As many games as possible. If it's 3-0 and Flacco's 3-0, and you know what? I don't care. You put Zach Wilson in the game. I need to see Zach Wilson. I need to know for the next 10 years, not just this year, if we sneak into a playoff with Flacco as our quarterback. I need to know the next 10 years that I got a quarterback. I don't want to have to go look for another one. So I need to put him in there and have him play as many reps, many downs, as many games as possible. So in that case, I 100% agree with Happy. The thing about defense, I know defense, he's always looking at the positive things. And, the way he talks about Zach Wilson, look, I want the kid to be great, and I want to give him every opportunity to play. But the way he talks about him, you would think, we have Herbert or Burrow as our quarterback. He's seen enough last year to say this kid's got it all. To me, the jury's still out on this kid. Can he read a defense? Can he know how to, you know what I'm saying? You saw that interception the other day. You can't make that mistake. I know it's an exhibition game. You can't make that mistake. You have to know, man. You have to have that innate ability to be able to see the defense, to see the safety, to be able to look off your number one receiver, number two, number three. And then his accuracy has to improve. We saw the pass to Garrett Wilson. I mean, Justin, you could have thrown it underhand and hit him. I mean, he does that a lot, those overthrows. So he needs to work on that stuff. But I got to give him a full season. I got to see what he. I can't just base it on one series in an exhibition game. That's why I need to see him play, bro. I'm not. You know what? The old me would have been like, fuck that. I want to win games. If Flacco's better, let's go. No. Because I don't want to have the same thing that happened with Darnold, where we wasted 3 years with this kid to see if we have a quarterback, and then we realized we didn't have a quarterback. No, I got to see Zach Wilson play get him in there whenever he's ready to go. You get him in the game, and he plays the whole season. I don't care what happens. Let him go out there, and if he fails, he fails. We got to know if we have a franchise quarterback, and that for me, that's a big step for me. If you know me, guys, because I'm usually always the guy he stinks. I want to win. If Flacco's winning, if you went in there and played quarterback for us and won a game, I'd be like, let Justin finish the season. I want to win games. I don't give a shit who the quarterback is. No, I need to know that we got a quarterback. It's all about, and I said it last night. I said it a month ago. I said it 3 months ago. The most important thing in this season for the New York Jets 2022 is finding out if we have a franchise quarterback, not going into it saying we got our guy for the next 10 years. No. We have to know that after this season is over, there's no talk. He's our guy, man. We got a quarterback now going forward as long as he's healthy for the next 10 years. That to me is paramount more than anything else.
Can I say something real quick, Justin and Benny?
Yeah, go ahead. I just want to tell you, Joe, I agree with you 100% on that. But go ahead, Happy.
It seemed like last night that people, when they said that they want wins, and if they keep the hot hand, they want wins. Well, we got that. We saw what a taste of that was like in 2015.
One hit wonder.
Patrick.
One hit wonder.
Realistically, that team was getting built for Geno Smith. Geno Smith just got his jaw cracked, and he was already on thin ice as it was anyway. He had a horrific season the year before. So McCagnon and Bowles came in and all right, let's build something around him. So there's really no excuse. Well, a lot of locker room issues. He gets his jaw cracked. They kept in Fitzpatrick because, he had the hot hand. And like I said before, Geno was already on thin ice anyway. It wasn't a situation where, well, this is his second year. Let's see what he can do. So we go 10-6. And then what happens? I believe Breach said it yesterday. We let the media control this organization. The media sitting there saying, if we don't sign Fitzpatrick, what a disaster, with all this other crap. And Brian Fitzpatrick is driving around the parking lot, and we give him a $13 million contract 1 year. And what happened after that? We stuck with the hot hand, and he was absolute dog crap. So
that was the story of his career, getting paid.
I know. He did the same thing in Buffalo. He got a huge contract in Buffalo, and they were 5-0, and then he crapped the bed for them too. So I get the question yesterday, but just the stuff I heard, it's just like then why did we draft Zach Wilson at 2? We should have just either traded back then and got a boatload of picks from San Francisco because they wanted Zach Wilson, but we told them no. Or we might as well have just taken Jamar Chase. Why not? If we didn't believe in this kid, that's what I was getting at last night. It was just strange that.
Sorry, Pappy, my bad. Go ahead.
Oh shit! I didn't realize.
No, I didn't mean to mute you, bro. I was trying to get somebody up who requested it. I hit mute. My bad.
No, sorry. No, it was just strange, but this is why we brought Flacco in. If something like this, God forbid, something like this happened, have him come in, win a couple games, give it back to the kid, and then just the comparisons I heard, it was just absurd. It's just totally different situations than what we are in. I don't like the comparison to Patrick Mahomes. It's no comparison. The Chiefs were a playoff team, and they traded up to get the kid. It wasn't like they waited and they got Mahomes. They traded up, and they were already a very good football team. Patrick Mahomes just elevated the quarterback play because Alex Smith was a game manager. So they wanted a guy that could get the ball deep. And I mean, at times Alex Smith can sling it, but at the end of the day, he's a game manager, and they didn't want that anymore because they were getting bounced in the first round. So I just didn't like the comparison of like, well, he sat. Yeah, they sat. They're a playoff team. They were already good, so they had the luxury of having the kids sit. Not every rookie that comes out has that luxury. But I just want to throw that in. I don't want to hold up because there's hands up.
Nah, bro, you hit that right on the money, bro. Like, this team is obviously built for Zach. I know Justin kind of spoke about this earlier, bro, but Joe Douglas didn't go out and draft a wide receiver at 10 for Joe Flacco. He didn't sit there and sign an all-pro guard. And obviously with Becton going down, signing another Pro Bowl tackle for Joe Flacco. This is all because he needs to see if Zach Wilson is the guy this year. If we finish this year without knowing if Zach is the guy or not, that's a fucking fail, in my opinion. Like, you got to have an idea of what you got at the quarterback position, and yeah, it's pretty much as simple as that. Justin, you wanna go to the hands, or you wanna go to the next topic?
Yeah, no, let's stay with the hands, bro, because I'm sure people want to rebut what's going on. Mark, go ahead.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, I just want to make sure, we shouldn't be too quick to judge Zach. I mean, let's not forget, due to injury, he had an abbreviated rookie season, right? That's a full year of being able to get real game reps against a lot of different defenses, get a sense of game speed. That's what he missed out on in year one. And then as far as the first preseason game, no one doubts. I mean, this kid has the athletic ability to make all the throws. With the interception and the overthrow, he just needs to settle in at game speed, and he needs game reps to do that. So I think I agree with what's been said about, when he's 100% healthy, get him in there over the course of the year, see what he can do. That's it.
And anyone that questions the fact that, I don't know, I get it if Joe Flacco magically wins week 1 and 2. You seen it last year with Mike White. Mike White won a fucking weak-ass game that Cincinnati had no idea what the hell was coming for them. And everyone's like, yeah. Yo, Mike White, you go ahead. Zach, you sit on the damn bench. You already know the fan base is going to be clamoring for Joe Flacco to win. I mean, to stay in the game. But I don't know. This is Zach Wilson's team. If Zach wasn't that guy, we wouldn't have been seeing these reports that he's been stacking good day after good day after good day, and he's finally getting that rhythm. And Mark, you hit it right on the nose. It's something very different, practice speed, when you're facing your own defense and they're not going to fucking hit you, rather than another defense who is throwing different looks at you and is trying to fucking take your head off at the end of the day. So it's obviously much different.
Benny, real quick too. Everyone praises like Mike White for that game, and don't get me wrong, you got to give the guy praise, but let's not forget. And I know the quarterback always gets the praise and all that, but Michael Carter and Ty Johnson had a hell of a game that game against Cincinnati. And
hell yeah,
our defense, I know we put up 31 points, but if we didn't have those 3 turnovers, realistically, we probably would have blown Cincinnati out of the water that game. So, if we didn't get those 3 turnovers, we were driving on them every time. But you got to remember, man, Michael Carter catching out the backfield and making
that was
guys
the Michael Carter game.
Same thing with Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson had a very good game too. Both those guys had excellent games.
Can I make a quick note about the Mike White game, just very briefly? So thanks, Happy. So the Mike White game, I thought a lot about it. It's almost like it's almost like the defense was prepping for Zach Wilson, because look at how the defense was stacked. They were trying to really cover what Zach wants to do with the ball, and they just refused to change their strategy. And that meant that everything that was underneath was available with the running backs. And that's why Mike White saw so much success.
Hell yeah. And obviously you've seen when Mike White faced the actual game plan, what happened. You've seen it this past preseason game. Mike White is not a good quarterback, guys. Like, it is what it is. So we need to stop with the shenanigans, stop talking about Joe Flacco, and he could win 5 in a row, and we could be straight to the playoffs. No. It's just about Zach. Zach has all the talent in the world, and you want a franchise quarterback that we haven't had in God knows how long? It starts with Zach, and we have the weapons around him to do just that. It's just getting the reps. It's simple.
Benny, I agree with that. I have faith that Flacco can, do wonders with this team because we've added so many good pieces. I mean, he's 0-5 as a Jets starter. All right, so let's think that he's going to go 5-0. I think it's a little crazy off the table, but at the same time, I believe in the guy because we did put pieces around Zach. And don't you think that a guy like Flacco is going to utilize those weapons and utilize that protection from guys like Lakeland Tomlinson, Dwayne Brown, now adding Garrett Wilson, Uzama, Rucker, Conklin? Like he's got weapons. Brees Hall in the background now. So like that 0-5 Flacco is going to be a different Flacco for sure, in my opinion. But riding the hot hand, I love it. But at the same time, if Zach's ready and Flacco say 5-0, I mean, I hope he's back before that. But I'm still going to hand the ball over to Zach and say, thank you, Joe, for doing what you were supposed to do, is win 5 football games, and let's see what this kid's made of. The other guys are confident, say, hey, we can win with Flacco. Imagine what we could do with Zach. And if that's not the case, then we know. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I like rolling with the hot hand most of the time, like Joe was saying before. But in my opinion, you got to know what Zach's got. You can't have this guy in year 3. Now we're going to figure it out. Because then what happens? Now you're in year 4 and you got to pick up the option. And now we got to worry about drafting again. Nah, I'm not about that one. Petey, go ahead. And then Saxon here too. So go ahead, Petey.
Can I go?
Go ahead, Petey.
Go ahead, Petey.
Yeah, so this whole thing, I just think we're wasting our time on it because the whole point of this whole turning over the roster, getting rid of garbage, cleaning up the cap, all that stuff was, to start over with Wilson. And like I said before, I'm just disappointed in Jeff fans, but I don't expect anything less because we're so passionate and crazy. But you cannot give up on Zach. I mean, like I said before this morning, and we're saying it again, and we're harping on this for hours and hours, when reality is there's no way that Douglas, who's tied to the hip with Zach Wilson now and Saleh, they're tied to the hip with him. This guy's playing. I don't care if we're talking about Joe Flacco going undefeated. Are we kidding? Like, really, the first pass that he throws, who knows what could happen? People expect Zach Wilson to be perfect. The guy's going to throw interceptions. Mahomes throws interceptions. And I'm not comparing them, but I just think we're wasting our time. The fact that really pisses me off is that, people are ready to move. If he was out for the year, people are ready to move on from him. And I get some older Jet fans. I am older. That doesn't give me the right for anything, but I'm bought into the rebuild, and we have to stick the course. It's a 2 to 4 year plan. You have to stick the course, and that's it. I don't want to see Fitzpatrick again. I hated when they brought him back, and he choked in the biggest game, him and Kembrell Tompkins. He choked. I want to just see Wilson develop. We never develop anybody. Yes, we're going to develop Garrett Wilson and all those guys, but that's it. Develop these guys and let's go. And let's have the young core, till 2030. Let's go.
Let's go, PD. And you said it right there, bro. Zach is a second-year quarterback. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Justin Herbert yet. You know what I'm saying? We all have hopes that he could be that top 5 quarterback in the league, but he's not that.
You throw that yet in there, Benny. I like that. You throw it in there. That yet.
That's exactly what it is. You got to build around him. He's gonna have his mistakes. If you are upset about, granted, it was ugly. The one interception, the overthrow, those are still going to happen. It's just they happened a lot last year, and can you minimize that? Can you this year is all about him being an average quarterback, being in that middle of the pack range. So in that year 3, it's like, okay, now you have it all. You had a good season behind you. Now show me something more. But if you're he messed up a little bit. Come on, guys. This is stupid. There's no shot in hell that Zach Wilson is there and ready to go. And they're going to be like, oh, all right, Joe Flacco, go trot back out there again. That's not Joe Flacco knows that. Like, there's no way in hell. Like, so we should not be sitting here talking about it for hours and hours and hours.
And also, and PD, I know we're all passionate and stuff like that, but it's got to be a line drawn somewhere. I mean, you just said it, PD. We need to develop a quarterback. When was the last time we actually sat there and developed a quarterback? I mean, it's obviously going to be Chad Pennington. I mean, we had him sit. It was a different time, and by the time he got there, the Jets were, we made the playoffs the year before. We were 10-6. It's just Vinny, was just done. He was done as a starter, and we brought in Chad. He gave us that spark. We already had Santana Moss, Lavarnius Coles. We had Curtis Martin and Lamont Jordan, and Chad gave us that spark, and we always kept the team to develop Chad. In 2004, I remember Jet fans were screaming for Matt Leinart, or 2006. My bad, in 2006. And we took to Brickashaw Ferguson and Nick Mangold when everybody was screaming for Matt Leinart. People were already giving up on Chad. And we kept developing him, and then we shafted him for Brett Favre. And then after that, we were developing Sanchez, which looked to be fine, but then we stripped all his weapons. Then we began to strip the offensive line, strip the running game, strip the wide receivers, and then look what happened. And say what you want about Sam Darnold. I know there's a lot of people that don't like Sam Darnold, but he got the short end of the stick here. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He showed some flash the last couple games of his rookie year, and then the beginning of next year, they did absolutely nothing to help the kid besides pick up Le'Veon Bell. But the one mistake that we did not address was offensive line. Our offensive line was pitiful last year, and they did nothing to upgrade it, and we saw it right away. Darnold was getting crushed. Le'Veon Bell was not Le'Veon Bell because also we decided to hire Adam Gase of all people. So I agree with Petey. It's time. Like, what are we doing? We always clamor and we always say that the last time we had a franchise quarterback was Joe Namath. Okay, then what's wrong with and what I was hearing yesterday? So now it's a problem that we want to develop one now. I don't get it. That's where I get confused.
And Justin, real quick, and remember, it's the same people probably on here, maybe not on here, that were clamoring for Greg McElroy when he put up 7 points.
Oh my God!
You know what I mean? Like
Greg McElroy. They got Greg McElroy and he sucked.
Correct.
Yeah. Let's get to the hands, guys. Zach, go ahead. And we got Rusty and Lou, Petty too are down there. Sorry. Go ahead, Zach.
Hey guys. Good morning.
Good morning, Zach. What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Good. Listen, it was a late night with that lounge last night. Went to like 2 a.m. So it's funny. The original lounge show on Sunday, I posed the question: if he's 3-0, let's just say Flacco's 3-0. This is what I said. Do you just pull him or do you stick with Wilson? That was the original question. That went from 3-0 to 3-1 to 4-0. Go to bed, wake up, listen to this show, and then it's 5-0. So obviously, it's like that game of telephone you played as a kid. Is someone says something, then someone else says something, then someone's tweeting out this morning. Yeah, the lounge was saying no. The original question was if he's 3-0, if Flacco went 3-0, just say, do you pull him and you put Wilson back? I'm in the middle, right? Because you have to see what you have in Wilson. You can't just keep like burning another biscuit and then just getting a new biscuit and then just keep burning these guys. So I'm with that crowd, with Happy and Petey and that crowd where, look, you can't just you got to find out what you have. I think the thing with Darnold was he made mistakes as a rookie and he continued to make the same mistakes. Did he have a great supporting cast? No, but he still made the same damn mistakes. I think what happened yesterday in the last preseason game, all of a sudden, Wilson's out there. There were two things that he did last year that drove us all nuts. A, he throws over the receivers' heads quite a lot, unless he's on the run. He threw over Garrett Wilson's head, and then that gave us shades of last year. And we were like, man, at least I was thinking that. I was like, come on, the guy's right there, 4 yards. Then He stares down a receiver. It's probably one of the worst throws I've seen in quite a while. Just stares down a receiver and throws the ball, and the guy picks it off. So then that just gave us a bad taste. So then this is my thinking now, not yours. My thinking. All right, fuck it. Who cares? This is preseason. He won't make, he made the same mistake. That's all right. And I think what happened was I says, wait till hopefully he gets another series. And then he gets another series and then he got hurt. And I think that was like, a tinderbox for a lot of folks. They seen him do two mistakes that he makes consistently last year, and then he gets hurt, and now he's out, and now we're scared that he's out the entire season. So none of us would have been scared that he's out this entire season and have all these pop-up spaces, holding our breath if we thought he wasn't the guy, right? So I'm just saying, again, what are we talking about? I just want to defend what the question was, and I'm surprised. Well, actually, I'm not surprised that it took off as. I just wanted to throw something out there, and the moment I said it, Petey said, "Uh-oh, Zach's doing that reverse psychology thing," and Petey's in here. He can tell you it was 3-0, and that was it. Then it went to 3-1. Then someone said, "Yeah, but what happens if he goes 4-0?" And now this morning it's 5-0. No,
I wouldn't go that far with me, but hey, that's what you do, and it's all good. I mean,
no, but that's what you said, and you were joking and you were laughing about it. It's because this is, regardless what you want to call a space, we call it a show. That's what it is. If we all sat here and agreed with each other, it'd be a boring show. Nobody would listen to it. So you got to throw out controversial topics so for people to get buzzing. And guess what? We went to 2 a.m. because people were going back and forth at each other, and it was a good debate.
Yeah, you had me debating Tony Richardson.
And that's good. Hey, you could, you debating Tony Richardson. I mean, look, where else can you do that? Look, I mean, it's a good debate. Yeah, Happy was heated, right? It drives him crazy. And I get his point. Yeah, it was driving me crazy at some point. But then you have the other folks. So you got to kind of play. Look, me and Anthony play off each other all the time. Me and Anthony agree probably almost on everything, even things in life. But when we're on the show, we were going at it last night. There's reasons why we go at it. And that's, and if you've seen any of that, Justin and Benny, like Mike and the Mad Dog, we could, LaGreca.
Everybody's different. Everybody's going to have different opinions, Zach. You know it. Like I said before, on Monday mornings, I'm going to get the people that are boo-hooing for a play. You get people that are cheering for the same exact play. People are going to be different with all their takes, and that's what makes it's such a great space.
If we just sat here, show going.
Yeah, if
that's
we're going to sit here and rehash each other's opinions and it's the same one over and over again, who's going to keep tuning in for these things? I wouldn't. I heard this a million times. I don't want to hear about it.
Exactly. That's the secret sauce right there. Yeah. Keep the conversation going. So yeah, and I just all right. Well, anyways, I'm gonna drop, but I just wanted to say that. I mean, I heard 5-0 now, and I was just smiling to myself, like, okay, now it's gone to 5-0.
So, well, I hope it's 5-0. I don't care who's spotting it. I want to see Zach play, but I want to be 5-0.
Last thing, look, the only thing I want to see out of Wilson is if he's healthy, get him out there. I don't want to be a Becton thing with the knee. And if he's healthy, he's the quarterback. Yep. But he can't keep making those same mistakes over and over again. That's all.
No, I agree with that 100%. We want to see what the kid's got, and we got to see him develop. That's what we put around him. We put him around some pieces, get him some protection. Obviously, put him to the floor upstairs. We're making this about Zach's team. So as soon as he's ready to go, it's his team. Let's go. We've got the hands up. We're going to go with Rusty, then Lou. Mark and Petty, I see your hands up. I want to get some new people who haven't spoke yet. Now I'll get right over to you. So Rusty, go ahead.
Hi.
Good morning.
I got two things. The first one I want to just point out is that the speculation is 2 to 4 weeks for recovery. And it's a month until the first game. So the chances of Flacco winning 3 or 4 or 5 games would mean that he had a catastrophic injury. This is not a catastrophic injury. It might take 4 weeks. You give him the extra week in order to make sure it's fully, healed, and that he has some time to practice, the most he would miss is like one game. So everybody's getting worked up for no reason, because that is so improbable of it happening that we shouldn't really be so upset about it. The other thing I wanted to point out is in the beginning of the preseason game, Zach is young and he hasn't been playing for a while. So in the beginning of the first game that he has any real contact with another defense, the adrenaline is going to be pumping like crazy. And he's going to tend to overplay things because he needs to get a chance to settle down into the rhythm of the game. So I can understand why in the first couple of series, because they were really only a few minutes apart, he's going to go and maybe overthrow. He's going to make a silly mistake by looking at the receiver that he's throwing. And remember, he was under constant pressure because Max Mitchell wasn't really holding anybody back. And there were a couple things that happened during those times. So I'm not really discouraged. I think if he had had a chance to play the rest of the game, he would have settled down and he would have looked much better. That's my opinion, but I really believe it. So I just wanted to point those two things out because I think we're going crazy over nothing.
Yeah, I agree, Rusty. Like you said, the 2 to 4 week window, give a week or two with obviously they have to go in there with the take a look at everything. Could be worse. Give him a week to practice, a week to game plan. My personal opinion is he doesn't come back till week 3, but at the latest. But so at that point, what's Joe Flacco 2-0? So I don't know. Let's keep the hands going. Rusty, great points. Lou, go ahead.
Good morning, guys. What's up, man?
What's up, Lou from Gotham City? What's going on, brother?
Not much. We had a similar discussion last night. I just want to start off by saying, Friday, obviously things look grim, and we got all these apparent leaks and sources telling us that Zach was out for the year. And it really, obviously, myself and including a bunch of fellow Jet fans were crushed. And I'm just happy that we have a light at the end of the tunnel, and we could be here now talking about Jets football because, at that time when he went down, I didn't even want to think about football this year. But I'm just happy that he is coming back. Like they say, the best ability is availability. And this is the second time he's injured himself. I have no doubt in my mind that the Jets want to develop this guy. But in the meantime, you also have to protect this guy. So where I'm going with this is, they're telling us 2 to 4 weeks. We won't know for sure until tomorrow when they get in and he does the scope and they check how bad that tear is in the meniscus. My guess is, knowing the way the Jets have been rolling with injuries so far, it's going to be at least 4 weeks. Then you got to give the kid a couple weeks to practice. So I'm with you, Justin, around week 3. But in the meantime, and I know you mentioned this in the chat yesterday, the comparison with the 98 team. We could see a flash in the bottle, so to speak, and Flacco comes out hot and he wins us a couple games. I don't think it'll be 4-0, 5-0. The best I'm hoping for is 2-2. And anyone that's in this chat would probably agree if Zach was playing with this daunting schedule, 2-2 would be a win for us. So I'm hoping the same for Flacco. And listen, if he's the reason why we win, yeah, give Zach Wilson an extra week or two. That I don't get the rush. I get it in this day and age in football. We need to know if he's the franchise guy by year 3. And back then, a lot of these guys sat, and they sat because it's a learning process, not only physically but mentally. And we've seen it with Zach. He's been hurt back-to-back seasons so far. So let's give him some time to not only fully heal from whatever injury that they're going to officially announce once he gets the surgery, but mentally. Rusty just said it. He's a young kid. He's out there. He might be overzealous sometimes to try to win it all in one play, but that comes with maturity. And obviously, if he can get those mental reps on the sidelines in the meantime, let him get it. And let's not forget, we have a young core team. So if having Flacco in there and veteran presence, I think it's going to help some of the younger guys at these positions like wide receiver, running back, so on and so forth. The offensive line, because nobody's talking about it. We have a couple of new pieces on the offensive line. They also need to gel, and having a veteran quarterback is going to help that, especially if he can help read the defense. And who better to play those first couple of games than Joe Flacco? He played in that division for almost a decade. He knows the teams. He knows the defense. Obviously the Steelers still have the same coach. So he knows how those teams play. The Ravens have the same coach. He knows how those teams play. He can help these teams. He can help the young guys make these adjustments, in-game adjustments that veteran quarterbacks do to help put their guys in winning positions. So I think, obviously, we all want to see Zach develop. Zach's our guy, but Zach's got to stay on the field, and Zach's got to stay healthy. And I don't see them rushing him back, especially if we're able to squeak out a couple wins, give him a couple more weeks to get his legs back into football shape, and then you put him out there. That's my thought. We've seen it happen in the past with the Giants and the whole Kurt Warner situation where, the veteran quarterback, I think they had a 5-3 record, and then they wanted to put Eli at to see what he had, and we know what happened that year. But at the end of the day, it's about winning games. There's more than one young guy on this team. I know Zach obviously is the most important person, but I think with time, we'll see that. But he's got to stay healthy. That's the biggest issue right now at this point.
Yeah, great. Really excellent take, Lou. And I love the Kurt Warner, Eli Manning, the way that happened with that year. And then, we started out that conversation with how we were watching the game. Everybody's all ready to go and see what happened. And I really need to rewatch the game another time. I've never watched it twice with shit going on in the background. But the first time I watched it, I can't even remember what happened after it because it was numb, mind numbing. What just happened? Did we just is football going to happen this year? What am I on the right planet here? So
and they wanted him to get the reps because that's why they put him out there for the second series. We get it. They want to develop him, but at what expense? Look what happened. He went out of second series and an injury happens, and and this is the second time in so many seasons that he's dealing with an injury. So let's I'm not saying stop his progression, but just ease up a little bit. And when time's right, they'll know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I also understand, you also brought it up in your point with developing the other young guys. He's, obviously the most important one to develop, but Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, they're going to benefit from having a veteran quarterback throwing them the ball, especially one who has got such a strong arm that they could run the route and know the ball can get to him. And not have to create a play with their legs because that's where Zach's going when he's out of the pocket. But I think that the point you made about the coaching staff still being intact with Baltimore, the same coaching staff intact in Pittsburgh, those are huge. Hopefully, it doesn't last all the way to week 4 in Pittsburgh, and that could be a game that Zach can be back for. But like you said, who better than to have as a backup right now when this happens to Zach than somebody who knows the AFC North more than any other quarterback that's probably in the league right now, besides, obviously Lamar Jackson. I mean, those guys that are playing them right now. But
and just one more point, I know people are talking about Flacco when he played with the Jets in 2020. Listen, that team was a mess. We had Adam Gase coach, and think about it. The one bright side of all this, with Zach getting hurt earlier on in training camp, is that if they do decide to roll with Flacco, which I think they will, he still has a couple of weeks of training camp under his belt to get the first team reps, to build that chemistry. It's not like he's going to get thrusted in out of nowhere where he only got 20% of the reps in practice. He's going to get the bulk of the reps. He's going to get to, I think he'll find a little bit of his mojo back. And like I said, his familiarity with that division and those teams, I think will help him. I'm not saying he's going to go in there and light it up like Vinny did in 98, because in 98, that team had a lot of players, and that was a veteran team, and there wasn't a truly a franchise. Glenn Foley's back there. He was a young guy, and he had a promising week 1, but then he crapped the bed week 2. But what I'm saying is, they know Zach's the guy. Flacco knows Zach's the guy. He's going to prove, to his former division mates that he still has something left in the tank. And in the meantime, it'll buy some time for Zach to fully get healthy, practice, and get those mental reps from the sideline. See what Flacco's doing. Flacco did win a Super Bowl, so I'm not saying he's the greatest quarterback, but he's got the experience, and let him get those mental reps on the sideline.
Yeah, I agree with that. Go ahead, Benny.
Not, it was
Oh,
me. I was saying what's up to Lou, and Lou,
what's up, brother?
what's going on, bro? I hope you got your mock drafts going, man. We got a draft coming up soon, so just wanted to shout that out.
It's still early, man. You see how guys are dropping like flies in the preseason. So
yeah, I just wanted to say what's up, man. It's been a while. I haven't talked to you in a bit, but I just wanted to obviously throw that out there that we got a fantasy draft coming up, man. So I'm excited.
I'll be ready. I stay low in the weeds, and then I come ready to attack. So.
Yeah, you brought up the 2020 Flacco. 2020 Flacco. Let's remember who was on the offensive line and who he had his weapons too. So I'm not going to forget that Greg Van Rotten and Alex Smith were out there, and he was throwing to Robbie Anderson. So
and let's not forget our starting running back, Frank Gore. Now we got Breece Hall and Michael Carter in the second.
Exactly. So it's a different team, different coach. It's a different year. So Flacco, I think, is going to be all right. But Zach's our guy. So I'm going to keep the hands going. Petty, go ahead. Then we'll go to Mark and then Terrence. Go ahead, Petty.
Yeah. So to go back to like bringing him back when he's like 130% ready, I don't want to do that because what you're going to end up doing is basically making him more anxious. I want him to be anxious to play, but I don't want him to be over anxious where he tries to overexert himself because he feels like he has to justify them putting him back in the starting role. Because what we're doing is we're essentially like ruining his confidence in that regard. And I understand that you need to have thick skin to be in New York to begin with, but what you want to do is you want to put him in the best position to succeed, and you want to make sure that he's 100% healthy, and then put him in a position to succeed in that now that he's healthy, without making him feel like he's got to do too much. Because the idea is, when Mike White succeeded, he didn't have to do too much. All he had to do was check down. He didn't have to throw deep. They didn't have to throw a the middle game. All he had to do was check down. With Joe Flacco, he knows how to play the quarterback position because he's been doing it for 16 plus years. It's a completely different avenue for him. He's still learning the intricacies of being an NFL quarterback. And what we want to do is we want to put him in the best position to succeed, and we need to avoid Corey Davis like it's the plague. Sorry to keep bringing that up.
Yeah, I mean, I like Corey. I just think that he's got to work on the drops, which I think he's done a better job. We've seen him in training camp and preseason, but I think it's more Zach getting to locking in on him and making him his first option when he shouldn't be all the time. I don't think he's our wide receiver one, and I don't think he should be. So like locking your eyes on him to me is just a mistake that Zach needs to get away from. Throwing the ball high to a guy who's not the best with his hands probably isn't the best thing either. So can't put it all on Corey there, but I see what you're saying about forcing it to him. Go ahead, Mark.
Thanks, Justin. Yeah, turning attention to week one, like I still give the Jets a great chance in that game. Like this offensive line now has talent, but they need to develop chemistry. Like if you go back and watch the tape, there's a rep where McGovern had his guy covered, and then Tomlinson, thinking that he's helping out, kind of extends his right arm and like punches the guy to his right, like thinking that he's helping, and it actually blew up the block. So, it's wanting to help, and then the block got blown up. They just need to develop time and chemistry together. And like I said earlier, like the offensive line, in my mind, is the number one key to having a chance against the Ravens. So that's it.
No, I agree with you. I was watching a little bit of the game before, and there was a play where it was a screen to the right, and the blockers were blocking to the left and then came off the chip block, and two people went for the chip block instead of the one. So those things, I mean, obviously it was Max Mitchell. It was his first year play, and he was on the right side. But, Vera Tucker was going to the left, and that was probably his assignment. And then Max was supposed to roll to the right and block for Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore ended up getting like a 2-yard gain. Could have been a way bigger play if Max didn't do that chip block. The same guy, I don't know if it was assignment blown, but it looked like he could have gotten off and gotten out to the side. But I think those are the plays you're talking about where you're thinking you're helping your guy make a block, but you don't need two guys on a tight end for a chip block. So I agree there. Good morning, Terrence. What's up, buddy? Welcome to Jet Lounge, man. How you feeling?
Yeah, Justin, how are you?
Doing good, man. Doing all right.
Benny. How's everything? And how's it? And good morning to all the faithful who come on. So I'm with you, and I basically agree with everything that's been said. The last 4 or 5 people who've come on since I've been on, everybody's making great points. But I'm in the boat of Zach's the guy, and I agree with Rusty about the fact that this whole exercise about if Flacco wins 4 in a row, what do we do? To me, I don't think it's going to get to that point, but I agree with what Lou was saying in that I'm thinking more like week 3 for Zach's return because I want him to be 100%. I don't want him to be 90%. I don't want him playing on that knee like he did against Houston, where when he scrambled, it kind of locked up on him. I don't want that. So I'm okay with a week or 2 of him sitting, even if his knee is supposedly sound. And I also agree with Lou about the fact that one of the things that could be advantageous in him coming back week 3 is that it gives the offensive line time to gel. Now that Dwayne Brown is going to be the guy and he needs a couple, besides the 3 weeks of practice, he needs a couple of games to acclimate. I think that'll be helpful too to solidify the line after 2 games, considering his knee. But again, I'm with Happy and I'm with you that he's the guy. As soon as he's ready, he has to start. And the emotional roller coaster of, him, everybody being upset that he, based on what the doctors that look at injuries on TV said it's an ACL and all that other crap that was happening on Friday and all the misleading reports, to go from that to like over the weekend talking about, what happens if Flacco wins 4 in a row? What do you do then? I mean, I don't know. It's like an emotional roller coaster that has no sense of reality. But I'm a Jet fan, so whoever's the quarterback, I want the team to win. I don't, I want Joe Flacco, and it's what a lot of you guys are saying. There's a lot of, it's a lot of reasons why it was a wise move to make him the backup because he is the perfect backup. He seems to be able to process information quickly, and he still has the arm strength, and that's what you want out of a backup quarterback for a bridge, for a game or 2 to be able to manage the offense and give us a fighting chance to win in the NFL. So I'm just fine with that. The only thing I will say is Happy can concur with me and some other people who were listening last night. It just got to the point to me where that basically everybody's already writing Zach off. And I don't mean maybe the people in this room. I don't mean the people who have just spoken, but there was an element out there that took this whole this hypothetical with Flacco winning 4 or 5 games in a row with zeal using the comparisons to Vinny and using the comparisons to Brady taking over for Bledsoe and all the other things that, that everybody remembers, but is not, but the majority of the time that doesn't happen. It's just the backup plays 2 games and the starter comes back. That's usually what happens in the NFL. There's no dramatic, there's nothing dramatic that happens where all of a sudden, Flacco finds the fountain of youth. But the important thing is we have a good backup quarterback that gives us a chance, just like Mark just said, that gives us a chance to win still in game 1, as opposed to what we had like 2-3 years ago when Darnold had mono and we had nobody that was a competent backup, and we basically lost like 2 or 3 games, got blown out 2-3 games in a row. So I'm happy about it, but again, Zach's the starter. I do feel one last thing before I land. I do feel, as Rusty mentioned, he's got to get that emotional intelligence down pat, because he can't come out there in game 3 amped up like he did in game 2 last year against New England and basically, throw high on everything because he's just too excited. Hopefully a year of playing in the NFL has taught him that. And that's the only thing I will say, that that that's part of the progression that we're hoping that he brings this year after going through all those rookie struggles last year. And so to me, like that's where I just hope that that's one thing he can curtail a little bit and basically just just play what's in front of you and just execute. That's what I'm hoping. But again, he's the guy. I want him to be 100% before he takes a snap in a regular season game. And to me, that's about week 3 to me. And anyway, thanks to all, because I just think everybody that preceded me has been making great points, and I just hope they continue.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember, guys. Joe Flacco, we got let him go when he went to the Eagles and was a backup. Thought he could win the starting role over there. It's no coincidence that we sit here and we trust in Joe Douglas. We need to bring in that linebacker. Who's he go out and gets Quan Alexander? We trust in Joe Douglas. We need we need protection for Zach. He brings in Lakin Thomas, and we need to trust in Joe Douglas. We need tight ends. He goes and gets 2 of them. We trust in Joe Douglas. He trades up and gets Jermaine Johnson at 26. We trust in Joe Douglas. Mekhi Becton gets down. He goes and gets Dwayne Brown. You don't think we should? It's no coincidence that Joe Douglas knew what he was doing with bringing in Joe Flacco when he saw the schedule that we were probably, he probably knew we were playing the AFC North. Why wouldn't you want to get the guy as your backup quarterback who's played that division years and years and years, like Lou was saying before about knowing some of the coaching staff, knowing the opponents, whether he was playing or not. It just so happens he might be playing, but just having him on the team is going to benefit Zach against those opponents right there. And obviously having him as a veteran and a strong arm is still capable of doing it. Like Cap keeps saying, he's a top 5 backup. So if Joe Walsh from the Niners said, it's a great thing to have backups until you need to use them. Well, you know what? We need to use them. I mean, why not have a good backup? I mean, look at our defensive line. They had 5 sacks Friday. They were playing against their second. Everybody's like, oh, well, they're playing against second stringers. Well, second, third stringers. Well, what do you think they are? You don't want them to get the sacks. You don't want them to get 3, 4. How many hurries and knockdowns? So I trust that Joe Douglas knows what he's doing with having a backup that's capable of running this offense through Joe Flacco. While Zach is down, Zach's our guy. I'm 100% for sure that he's going to be fine. But what Petty was saying before about the 130% having him out too long, I get that. But I also don't want to go through this in week 8 where his knee gets screwed up again, and then he's out for the rest of the season. And he only got to play weeks 3 through 8, and then he tweaks his knee again. So knock on any. I got wood over here. Something you heard it. It's not going to happen. But as far as what I'm saying is, we got to make sure that he's going to be completely healthy to go forward, to be our franchise quarterback for the 10 plus years, and be, maybe somebody else's backup after he wins a couple rings here. So, Petty, get your hand up, and then we're going to go on to the next segment that we want to talk about some other stuff. Go ahead, Petty.
Yeah, no, Terrence put it perfectly. I don't want him to get too amped up and excited to play where he just thinks that he needs to do too much. But I'm not concerned that he's going to do anything, because he's going to have a brace on that's going to prevent him from making any crazy moves that he was making. And I think that's just going to be a part of his gear for the rest of his career, just to be safe. Like him having having a knee brace on, because it's clear that he needs extra stability support on that side of his body, the right leg. So hopefully he doesn't think that he doesn't need it anymore after he heals up at the end of the year. But definitely for the rest of this year, and hopefully for the rest of his career, he's wearing that just to be safe.
Yeah, I mean the emotional roller coaster. I mean, that's what I think got him injured. Him having to play. We had this conversation a little bit before, but he threw an interception, and then he's like, I'm going back out there, and I need to prove to my team that I'm not okay with it. I need to do something huge to make up for that, and that's why he cut back in instead of running out of bounds. So that means the player he is, he wants to fight for more yards. But I'm sure that Robert Saleh would agree with me that he probably should just went out of bounds and let the fight another play, and not to try to juke out a cornerback to get 5 more yards. But that's the player he is. He did it against Houston. He did it against Jacksonville. He did it all year. That's his style of play. But we're gonna move on for some Zach Wilson talk. I know it's the hot topic, and Flacco, but the game we keep talking about the game about Zach Wilson's injury and where we're going to move forward. But let's talk about the 53-man roster Who do we think might not make the team? And what did you see that was positive in the game? I'll start out, and then we can even go around the room on who you thought was the shining star of the game for you. Doesn't have to be the same guy. It could be somebody, 2, 3 guys if you want to. So if you're a listener, come up and talk about it. But I got to go with Michael Clemens getting into the backfield. I like seeing that. And obviously seeing Jackson getting the touchdown, I think he's going to make the squad. And Zonovan Knight pushing through for some touchdowns and, looking good on special teams too. So those are the 3 I'm most excited about. The one I'm the most concerned about is the one that's been the hot topic for the last 2 years. And I think he's going to be a goner is Denzel Mims. I think that he's just given every opportunity. But, he does have 2 more preseason games to prove what he's got. But so what did you see that was positive in the game, guys? I just gave you my 3 guys. Benny, you still there? When you want to talk about positivity?
Yeah, on a positive note, obviously, it's impossible to ignore the tight end position. We featured Tyler Conklin. I think he had like 3 catches or whatever. And obviously, Jeremy Ruckert scored Long Island native right there, which is huge. But I love the fact that we have 3 legitimate, capable tight ends that's going to take the load off of whether it be Zach Wilson or Joe Flacco. So the tight end group is really, really positive. I know you mentioned Clemens. I love his motor. He literally did not stop. He was just not he's just an animal. He's a freak. And it's gonna be it's gonna be really hard to take him off the field. So I'm excited as hell for that. And I said it before a while back, but Garrett Wilson is the freaking truth. You watch him run routes, and you see that kid is special. He creates separation of almost every route. So Garrett Wilson is going to be that guy. And as much as I love me some Elijah Moore, it is no secret that Garrett Wilson has a higher ceiling than Elijah Moore. So
I think Benny's driving or something. He's outside somewhere. Might have lost him in the matrix there. But yeah, Garrett, obviously I'm excited to see what he can do. But as far as the game and the guys that are trying to make the team, I also liked what was it, Zuniga? He got in the backfield. He was blowing up some plays and hurrying, their quarterbacks and blowing up some of the offensive line assignments. So our defensive line had 5 sacks in the game. That's not a stat that I want to, put to the wayside. It's pretty damn good. So I like that we have some depth at that position, and we were getting to the quarterback, especially with some of these guys not playing, like JFM. I didn't see Lawson. I don't know if he was there, but CJ and a couple of these guys not out there, and we're getting to the quarterback with our backup. So I like to see that. Trying to think who else. Like I said, Zonovan Knight, just excellent play. Yeah, and I mean the kicking competition. What more can we ask for? These guys aren't missing. So I think Greg Goulet gets the nod because of the experience, but Pinheiro don't look bad either. So we won the game, guys. I mean, yes, Zach lost, but our backups are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and Strevler. I mean, this guy coming in, 3rd string guy. Mike White didn't look the greatest, but he held the 40. He wasn't throwing picks or nothing. Braden Mann making a touchdown saving tackle. So seen some positives in the game. So got the hands up. We'll keep going. Let's see. Mr. S, go ahead. And then we'll go over to Cap. Go ahead, Mr. S.
Hey, good morning, everyone. How you guys doing?
Good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. So, I saw a lot of good things I like to see out of the team. Even though it was like the 2nd string guys and 3rd string guys, but it's like everybody was fighting, and that's what I like to see going into the preseason. Everybody making the effort, not giving up. I know you spoke about Mims. I'm still a little high on him to actually make this roster. He had 2 good catches. I saw that he picked up the first down. It was like 20 yards or so. I know he had that one penalty, but I know he needs like a couple more reps if they get him in there, especially with Flacco. Because I remember when he first came in and they had Flacco back in 2020. He threw to him a couple of times, and that was like a main target. So hopefully, if Flacco plays next game, or should I say when he plays next game, they can get Mims on the field. I do agree with what you said, Michael Clemens, and also Zabari that we drafted as well. He did look pretty good as well. All in all, everybody, even Lawrence Cage that made from wide receiver to tight end, looked pretty good coming out in the ending. So it's just a matter of everybody. To me, I just like I said, everybody to me, I just want mostly just to continue to stay healthy and pretty much just keep fighting. I like the mentality. Whereas, even though your quarterback goes down, that doesn't mean everybody's supposed to give up. Everybody just still keeps pushing forward and trying to win the game. Even though it was just preseason, but so far, so good.
I see your point with Denzel Mims. Like, it seems even throughout camp that he's had a little bit of a better connection with Flacco, predominantly because he's been running with the 2s and the 3s. He hasn't been running too much with the 1s. But that's been the story of Mims' career. He makes a nice play, and then he does something else to fuck it up. You know what I'm saying? I think this coaching staff has given him he's still going to get opportunities because the joint practices, the preseason games, but there's too many times where you kick your own self in the butt where it's like, come on, bro. Like, how are you holding here? How are you not in the right position here? And granted, these other guys like Calvin Jackson and stuff like that, they're making the most out of their opportunities while you're sitting here dropping a ball that you should have had or costing us a penalty and stuff like that, where it's just like, I don't know, bro. This coaching staff is probably fed up with it. And I know Denzel Mims is fed up with it. There's been reports where he wants to be a starter or he's not happy with his role. You know what I'm saying? I think it's best case scenario for him, not even just trying to be selfish about the Jets. Best case scenario is that we trade him and he's able to get a fresh start somewhere else. Because I don't think he's it in New York, and maybe it's just the pressure of it or whatever the case may be. But I don't think Denzel Mims make this roster, and you get a lot more kind of upside and versatility with a guy like Calvin Jackson.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want to talk more about the offensive line, guys, because we keep harping on what they blew up on, but they didn't give up a single sack on Friday. They did two loud pressures with Max Mitchell, but I had Chuma, didn't give up any sacks. Nate Herbig, no sacks. Dan Feeney, Ross Pierschbacher, I don't know who this guy is, but they obviously didn't give up any sacks, and that's good. All right, you gotta agree with me there. Tanzel Smart, guys. The guy, he had 4 pressures, including 2 sacks. Jermaine Johnson and Quinton Williams each posted a sack there, each 2. So we had some great stuff going on. There's a couple things that I was kind of wanting to see more with the offensive line is for our rushing game. Breece Hall, he finished with 15 yards. I wanted to get more with him there, and Zonovan Knight with only 13 yards. So our Russian attack wasn't there yet. So we're going to see what they do in the preseason and training camp with adjusting this line with Font and Dwayne Brown now. So I got a couple people who were in the text thread here that one guy was saying that Calvin Jackson, Tanzel Smart, and Michael Clemens were the favorites. That's Alex Clark. And Chris wanted to talk about Breece, which I just did, and Michael Carter the second. So we'll get back to Michael Carter because like I said, after Zach went down, I didn't see too much. I have to look up those stats. If Chris wants to come up and talk about Michael Carter, if anybody else wants to chime in on that, go ahead. But don't forget there's a text thread too to the space. So keep with the hands going up. Let's go to Cap, Petey, and then Petty. Go ahead, Cap.
No, I was just gonna actually talk about Tanzel Smart. I think he's one of those guys that you have to really take a long look at for like a bottom of the roster guy. Like just from what I saw, he was always around the ball. He he was making plays, and if he wasn't making plays, he was there. So that's a guy I like what I saw with his motor. Considering who he was running against, and I think that like if he keeps that up, it's going to be a hard decision along that D line. He's not going to make it easy, at least from what I saw.
Yeah, I love our depth on that line. We talked about that numerous times on this show. It's like, who do you cut? And then they should start showing up in the preseason games, and and making a good case for themselves. We were talking about these guys before with Zuniga. Like, we were like, he'd probably be on the Cup. And then he comes out and plays a great game. Tanzel's smart. So it's what the preseason's for. It's the training camp's for. So these guys can make the roster. But go ahead.
Tenzel Smart should 100% make the roster over Nathan Shepard. That's just all I gotta say.
Yeah, and when I was at training camp last week, there was a cornerback. He made a spectacular interception, but I didn't know who he was. I saw the number. I think it was 38, and it was turned out to be Luke Barco. Didn't look bad. Depth pieces. This is what we're looking at, guys, with the 53-man roster. That's what training camp and these preseason games are going to, be for. I can't wait to be there Monday to see them play the Falcons, and obviously we have the joint practices this week. So. Let's keep the positive vibes going for what we saw that was positive in Friday's game. Go ahead, Petey.
Well, the one positive that I will see is if anybody saw the move Elijah Moore made on that slant was incredible. He completely juked the guy. I can't agree with Benny, really. I think both Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson, he could say that he has more upside, Wilson. I get it, but I'm just excited to see Moore cook. Whoever's playing, who's ever throwing him the ball. That guy was good. Michael Clemens was outstanding. 7 pressures on 30 snaps. That's kind of ridiculous. So there were some, I'm going to talk about it tonight. I don't want to get too much into it, but there were positives. We won the game. So people could say, our 2s and 3s, but we've never had depth where the freaking, second and third stringers. Remember, we had freaking, as Happy says, dog shit players, with years of inept drafting and no depth. And now we have actual depth that is going to probably get cut, and other teams are going to pick up. So that's my 2 cents. Thanks.
Oh, for sure. It's it's a great thing to have. I mean, why would we don't talk about your guys being the second and third stringers and be like, oh, well, they're the second and third stringers. They're playing against second and third stringers. Well, who else are they going to play against? Their fourth stringers, the guys off the street. They're going to play against the other team's second and third stringers. And guess what? If our second and third stringers are better than another person's second and third stringers, then they're making a case to make the team as a backup. I mean, come on, it's a joke. But go ahead, Mark.
Hey, Justin. My phone went wild when you guys were talking about the tight end room, so I'm not sure if you guys already went through it, but not just the 3 guys that are there that we know about between Conklin, Uzama, and Ruckert, but I mean, even Yeboah and Cager showing up in the preseason game. Like, this position group is completely transformed. And I'll add to that and say, in a Shanahan system, that tight end position is critical. Having great options there really matters in that system. So, there are other teams, even in our own division, that are looking to implement the Shanahan system. And, let's say they're relying on Gesicki as a tight end option who's a receiving threat and excellent, but having solid dual threat tight ends to help out in that system really matters in terms of offense taking another step. So I really like seeing Yeboah and Cager, who I think Petey said it best. He's like, listen, Cager's a transformed receiver into tight end. Like, he could be a serious matchup nightmare for defenses because he's got that receiving experience. So I'll be curious to see how the tight ends are used this year.
Yeah, that's a great point, man. Obviously, I feel a little special connection to the tight ends this year. Tyler Conklin picked my phone up off the ground at training camp last week and took a selfie. We held the Jeremy Ruckert event. I got to hang out with him for hours on end. My son went to a camp, met Kenny Yeboah. Last year, I was at the preseason game where he caught the Hail Mary, and the training camp last week, I'm there. He scores a touchdown. I'm like, this, the good luck jewel for these tight ends or something. So, then my son signs up for football. Last year was a quarterback, running back. He makes the team this year, and the coach is like, hey, I think you should play tight end. I'm like, what is going on here with tight ends? I mean, I'm ready for these tight ends to just jump off the screen every damn week here. So, it's going to be tough, Mark. I mean, 5 tight ends. How are you going to keep all of them? I hate to see any of them go. They're all like you said, Cager's probably the tight end 5 or your Boa, whatever. But these guys could probably be weapons that could be used throughout the season. Ruckert scores a touchdown. He's not going where he's our draft pick. But how many do
It's
we
a good
have?
problem to have, Justin,
That's
and a
exactly.
new problem for the Jets, right?
Seriously. So, yeah, let's keep this going. I think more hands up. Petty, what you think was positive from Friday, man? What are you thinking? Who was your one that stuck out to you the most?
It was obviously QB3, Streveler. I'm kidding, but he did play really well in the timing that he had, and Michael Clemens just is an absolute beast. Like it was great watching him just nonstop motor, no matter what, he just kept going and kept going. He's that type of guy that you can tell is going to be someone that's going to be a nightmare for anyone that he goes up against, and that's one guy that I really really liked watching. Um, One play, I mean, like he didn't get many snaps, but Brees Hall's cutback run for 8 yards, making something out of absolutely nothing was spectacular as well. And then being able to see um, Jeremy Ruckert get on the field and get a touchdown almost immediately was great to watch as well. Now, yeah, I mean, like I'm a big Denzel Mims supporter, but that illegal formation did aggravate me, and him, as we talked about before, if it hits in your hands, you got to catch the ball. He didn't do that either, but he had a relatively okay game, minus those two things. But yeah, it's going to be hard for him to get on the roster if he doesn't play on special teams. And what you're seeing is all these other guys are playing on special teams. They even got Irvin Charles running on special teams, and he was flying down flying down the field, and he was the main reason as to why they got that ball like within the 5 yard line when that punt went down by uh, Brady Man. Brady Man pisses me off a lot too because he'll shank a kick and then make an amazing tackle, or he's not consistent, and it drives me absolutely wild. But overall, I mean, like it was a lot of good to watch, and obviously the worst thing to watch was us being terrified for about 24 to 48 hours.
Sorry, I was just talking on mute. That's like a sack special. I'm sitting here talking to my phone. I'm like, why? Nobody hears me. Yeah, so I guess we'll move on from that. I guess there's not too much people want to talk about the positivities of the game, but the other thing I want to talk about too is George Font. This is a positive spin on things. However, it's a good question to think about it. He's moving back over to right tackle after he was at right tackle last year, moved to left tackle. Now he's going back to right tackle. Do you guys think that this helps his extension for a big payday, or does it hurt it, being that he's going to be getting right tackle money? But will he get big money being that he's able to say, hey, I could play both? So I think that that's a good topic to talk about because I think the man is going to show some versatility. He can play at a high level at left, he can play at a high level at right. Should this just be a new thing where, I'm not going to demand left tackle money? I want more because I can do both of them. Um, I don't know. I think that he's proven that he's a team player by being able to switch. I mean, obviously, if he's told he has to play over there or he sits on the bench, but I don't think that would happen. But I think that takes some respect that the man is, to me, earned in my eyes, that he can be utilized as a bookend on either side. What do you think, Rusty?
Well, from what I've heard and seen, um, switch tackles don't make as much money as left tackles do. One of my biggest concerns about them telling him he needed to play right tackle was that it would affect him deciding to sign an extension with the team, because Joe Douglas doesn't usually pay more than he absolutely has to. And I'm sure that Fant wants to look for a lot more money than they've been offering, or else he would have already signed. So that's my biggest concern. Whether it will affect him, I don't know, because he wasn't very good the year that he played right tackle, but then maybe again it was Van Roten or however you want to pronounce his name that was the problem, and AVT will make a difference. I don't know that, but I think that that's just something that speculating might be a concern. And because, like I said, Joe Douglas doesn't like to pay more than he thinks somebody's worth. And fans' definition of what he thinks he's worth may not be the same. So I'm hoping that it all works out because I'd like to have him on the team, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, Rusty, and you're probably not wrong. I feel like if they were on the same page, Fan probably would have signed that extension already. But I don't know. I think this kind of plays positively into him getting a solidified contract with the Jets. Sorry, I'm outside, so if you hear cars flying by. But yeah, I think this plays into just because he's obviously a team player. He's busting his ass. Like, obviously, he played well last year. I genuinely think part of the reason why he struggled so bad at the right tackle position was because when you're playing with GVR on your left, you got to make up for his mistakes. And I don't know. It was just not a good look for him. I think this year he's going to play a lot better at the right tackle position. But I just think his overall, the team player mentality, and if he plays at a halfway decent rate, those are guys you want to keep around. You don't want to develop him because you kind of developed him a little bit and then let him go to another team. And granted, we don't know what's going to happen with Becton this after a year from now. So I don't know. Obviously, we have Dwayne Brown for 2 years. You could solidify Fant again and let the battle play out within itself. But you kind of have to have these tackle positions set rather than letting it be a question mark going into next year as well.
Yeah, I feel you, Benny. I'm just curious on it because obviously we got to keep him on the team, right? If he's going to be, is he a long-term commitment with us? If he's going to be extended, but that goes into question next year. If Becton's ready, now you have an $11 million a year Dwayne Brown. How much you paying to Font? $10+ million a year over there, and now here comes Becton on his 4th year where he's going to have to be signed. And what are you going to do with him? Yeah, he's a backup with making that kind. It's just something to talk about. But Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, thanks. I'll let the guys that know more about Cap talk, more about that. But from a purely performance perspective, Benny, I think that's an awesome point. We got to keep in mind who he was playing alongside from a performance perspective. And I like the fact that, let's say they're moving to the right side. I mean, let's not forget he's going to have AVT to his left, and the two of them together, if they could solidify the right side of the line, that's huge because it means Dwayne Brown's going to be coming in. He's got to develop chemistry with Laken Tomlinson. The line has huge potential this year. So if Fant can, show up and show out with AVT to his left, he might be thanking that young man if he's able to get the sort of deal that I think he wants from the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a good another good problem to have is your starting right tackle being able to play both positions, and now you're wondering about the monetary aspect of it. But if he knows that he's going to have to earn a contract, whether he's doing it with us or for another team, he's going to have to ball out this year, and he's going to give it his all. He's not on his first year of his contract where he's going to be like, all right, well, I'm comfortable here. This is the end of my career. I'm going to be fine. He's going to be out there earning, the respect of his teammates, the front office from this team, or from a prospective buyer for the future. Petty, go ahead.
See, I mean, first and foremost, I want to say that I think that he should get paid and be a part of the future of this team because he's done enough to earn that right. But I think the signing of Dwayne Brown for 2 years was them showing that they're willing to walk away from him. The Jets are. And the thing is, as a right tackle, Joe Douglas, we know he has his price. He's not resetting the right tackle market for anybody. It doesn't matter. So I think this potentially could be George Fant's last year as a Jet. Even though I don't want it to happen, but I feel like this is all leading towards that. And it's just he's not gonna he's gonna want to be painted like a top left tackle, and he's not playing the position. And he wanted to play the position, and they had already agreed to let him play the position while Becton was getting back together and getting himself together. So now with Becton, now he's moving over to the opposite side where he's not as comfortable. Not to say that he won't be good this year, but he's not as comfortable on the right side as he is on the left. So with that, and then you got Dwayne Brown here for 2 years, and then you have Becton who's still under contract. You got a rookie who will be a second year player following that. It just it doesn't look like there's room for him now with them doing the 2 years with Dwayne Brown, and it's unfortunate, but I could be wrong, but that's how I saw it.
Yeah, not that's how I see it too, and that's why I brought it up because when Dwayne Brown got his 2 years, I was like, wait, so next year when Becton's better, where's Font fall into this? So I don't know. It's kind of a topic that I wanted to talk about. But go ahead, man.
Yo, yeah. This is something I just need to address it because it pisses me the fuck off. I'm sorry for cursing, but it's gonna be a little quick rant. I love it. I love it because I can't wait till week 5 until the Dolphins realize that they're fucking shit. Their quarterback is shit. They got Tariq Hill and they got a fucking hard on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. I just keep seeing it ever since Zach went down. There's a lot of negative slander from Dolphins fans. Like, oh, he's been awful. Like, yeah, trust me, I know his rookie season was fucking ass. But they're like, oh, they hang their hat on his last 5 games where he didn't have an interception, but the most he threw for was 230 yards. Didn't have a passer rating of above 90. Yeah. It all fucking sounds good, but how about you put some context on it? Zach Wilson did play well. Zach Wilson did not turn the ball over. Zach Wilson was throwing to Keelan Cole. Zach Wilson was throwing to Tariq Black. Yeah, you want Zach Wilson to throw for 300, 400 yards. Throwing to those guys. 100%. Yeah, get the fuck out of here, bro. Dolphins fans are so damn delusional and so damn caught up in la la land because they got a head coach who never called the damn play in his fucking life when he was with the 49ers. But now it's all solved, right? Now you got Tariq Hill. Cool. You got a bunch of mid running backs. You got an offensive tackle that hasn't played more than 10 games in his career in the season for most of his fucking career. You have Connor Williams. Ask any Cowboys fan. He kills drives time and time again. You got a bunch of mid running backs, and your defense is gonna take a step back. But okay, like, I don't know, bro. Like, this slander and Dolphins fans being all freaking hype when Zach Wilson went down. That's stuff that cannot be ignored. And Lord, please, I can't wait for Zach Wilson to be back by week 5 so he can light the hell out of the Dolphins fans, and I will be relentless on this bitch. I swear to God.
Betty, I love you, bro. We're just sitting here talking about week 1, talking about George Font. Somebody just slid into Benny's DM or tagged him in something. I'm dying over here. Ah, shit. Oh, we have a Dolphins fan who wants to be a speaker. I'm going to let you up, Ryan. So turn it to a war space. Go ahead, Ryan. Bring the heat.
Hey, what's up, boys? Obviously, I wouldn't expect anything different. With that being said, any Dolphin fan who's happy about Zach Wilson going down can go fuck themselves. As far as the injury is concerned, fuck that shit. Like, I at no point want anybody to get injured on Dolphins or anyone in the NFL for that matter. These guys got, families. These guys got careers. These guys got people that are relying on them. I played sports in college, and the thought of losing a year and the thought of realistically, Zach Wilson this year is trying to prove something. And if that hinders his play in any, at any point, like, not even thinking the full year, him being out, it sucks for him. It absolutely fucking sucks. So Benny, I don't know where the fuck you got the injury stuff from Dolphin fans.
No,
But
no,
Benny, hold on.
that was
Hold on.
when
From
off the space,
me to
That was
them,
that was.
they can go fuck themselves. Okay. Every single one of them that are even in the slightest bit happy about Zach Wilson getting injured, they can go fuck themselves. And I've been on record saying that because fuck that shit. Now, as far as his play is concerned, and I'm glad we can talk about his play, because if he was injured for the whole year, I would feel so fucking bad for you guys that I wouldn't even be able to, have the conversation about what I saw on the field. With that being said, it's a fucking preseason game. He obviously, I don't think anyone can say he played well in the, 1.5 drives that he played. But ultimately it's a fucking preseason game. But it is almost, identical to what you guys did see, last year, which was a lot of inconsistency, a lot of, mishaps, bad throws. I definitely, the pick was, obviously telegraphed. The miss to GW on the out was, obviously a terrible pass, but it's fucking preseason. And that is who Zach Wilson is. He's not, and I think I can agree with Jet fans. He's going to do things that make your jaw drop, and then he's going to do things that make your jaw drop in the wrong way as well. And until he fixes, the one side of it, which is, him being young, him being super athletic, him sometimes feeling like he doesn't have to be in the perfect, stance as far as a pass goes. Like even the pass he missed where he threw, the ball, 3 or 4 yards over the head of the receiver. I just think he did it with his arm. He just kind of like slung it over there with his arm. And it's like, why? There was no pass rush. Why are you not getting your feet underneath you? And why are you not throwing an absolute dot? And I think I can agree with a lot of Jet fans on that. Right now, he trusts his arm so much that he makes decisions like that. But I did want to come up here just to say, I'm so fucking happy that ZW is playing this year. He's healthy. And any Dolphin fan who disagrees with that can legitimately go fuck themselves.
Yeah, Ryan, I appreciate that, man, because I don't want, as much as I say, oh, lay him out over the middle, kick his ass. I would never want, like you said, they're people, they have families that rely on their abilities to play football, and we want to see you guys bring your best talent to the team to the field every week, so we can legitimately say, hey, we kicked your ass, and there's no excuses like we had to deal with the Titans fans last year, with them saying, oh, half our team was out. Like that shit, I hate that shit. So, plus you're a piece of shit human being if you wish harm on another person over a football game. So I appreciate you coming in here and repping your team in positive light, bro, because there are some trolls out there who aren't like that. So I appreciate you, Ryan. We always argue on these spaces with Jet fans and Dolphins fans, but I appreciate
And I don't want that to ever end. Like the banter back and forth. I think Benny might have saw my tweet. I was the one who just tweeted, because I've been in here all morning, which, by the way, I love your guys' conversations. You guys a lot of times you allow people to come up, have different opinions. You don't kick them down to fucking listener. You just have conversations, whatever they feel, and I love that shit. So listening, to some of these guys coming up, and you guys do hang your hat on the last, 5 to 9 games where he didn't throw a lot of interceptions. And I know he was put in a situation where his weapons were depleted. He didn't have any of the guys that he has today, but I just tweeted it because realistically, at no point last year did he, look great. Maybe a little bit in the Tampa Bay game, I thought he looked okay, and then in the Tennessee game, again, I thought he looked good. But I don't think interceptions correlate to good or bad play. And I think he was super conservative in his final, 5 to 9 games, and that ultimately allowed him to not throw interceptions. But I liked what he was doing in the beginning of the year and just kind of slinging it around, figuring out what he can and can't do. Because at any point you can take the check down. At any point you can take the easy pass.
Yeah, no, I see both sides of that. We also want to, we're kind of PTSD with having too many picks with Sam Darnold. So seeing those kind of stats, shows us growth that he's not going to, turn the ball over when we have such a putrid defense. It's just going to give the ball away to the other team, and he can't get back on the field besides being down 17 points already in this halftime. So we'd like to see growth for our the young quarterback that, maybe you're like you're saying, not being able to throw a check down and not being able to find out what you can get away with having that ability, of having that, the arm strength. And what we drafted him for was making these wild plays and throwing the ball, across his body 60 yards down the field, a flick of the wrist. But we also like to see growth. And I think that we did see some growth with that, with making some, playing boring football, as Coach Saul would say it. But at the same time, we do want these, the jaw-dropping plays like you're talking about, because that's who we drafted. So I agree there. Those are some valid and good points there. So we got Lee John here. I think want to chime in a little bit. So you come up as a speaker. We're going to end this shit at 11, guys. Hard stop. I got some stuff to take care of with my dog, and got to get to the post office and mail some of the hats for the giveaways that I did. So Lee John, do you want to chime in on anything? So you came up as a speaker. DA, anybody? Petey?
Yeah. What's going on, man? Yeah.
What's up, bro?
I would respect the Dolphins chatter because, we the only team that really has anything to show for the last 20 years is the Patriots. So we're really all in the same boat, and there was years when I actually rooted. There's so many times I rooted for the Dolphins because, they played the Patriots twice a year. So there's always times when I'm rooting for them to score. The one thing, though, last night was crazy with the Zach Wilson Flacco talk. I'm happy that you guys are excited about Zach Wilson again, because I really do believe that a lot of the hate, or a lot of the I guess non-confirming, that he just threw one pick. That's basically what happened. He threw one pick, and now everybody just can't get that picture out of their head. And I think that he really didn't even throw a lot of interceptions last year towards the end of the year. So if anything, it was just probably like you're running a vanilla playbook and a linebacker, jumps a route. So, I don't really blame Zach Wilson for anything that happens in the preseason. Him getting hurt, I don't blame him. That could have happened anytime, even at practice. It wasn't like a real run out of bounds situation or not run out of bounds situation. You make 3,000 cuts coming up to that one play in training camp alone. So, just for that to happen to him there, it's tough. But look, man, Zach Wilson hasn't been a focal point of my, Jets analysis in the last 7 months. I've always thought that we need to get to the quarterback. I always thought we needed to play, a little bit better in coverage, and I thought the linebackers were lost. So if those positions can just kind of figure it out, and we can only allow 20 points a game, because a lot of times when you let up 30 points, that's an automatic loss for 90% of rookies. So, if this defense can play better, it doesn't really matter who the quarterback is. I like the way that they call plays. I think that they're trying to run the ball, whether we like it or not. I don't think this team is ready to pass the ball. And there's a reason that we don't have quarterbacks that really perform outstanding at MetLife. You go to that game, that stadium, and the wind is swirling in your face. Sometimes it's better, no matter who your quarterback is, to just run the ball. And I'm excited because I think that they actually have a team that they've built to the strengths of their stadium, to their quarterback. I think that they're also in a great position. People want to talk about Joe Flacco. I think that the ideal situation, if the Jets wind up going 5-6-0, and you put Zach Wilson back in, and he's not that great, that you have a football team. The Rams knew they had a football team, and then they went and got a quarterback. The Colts know they have a football team right now, and they're going to plan on hopefully, having Matt Ryan do something positive for him. So it is so much less. I'm so much less concerned with Zach Wilson right now than I am with the whole team playing well together, because there's always moves that can be made once you have all the pieces. Everybody wants to come. You see Von Miller going to Buffalo. Imagine Von Miller going to Buffalo 5 years ago. There would have been no way in hell anybody could have convinced him to go up there. And, 4 or 5 years later, they're going to the AFC Championship game, and now all of a sudden an elite Hall of Fame defensive end wants to go pass rush for them. And I'm hoping that, we could be in a position next year where we're good enough where a guy like Chandler Jones actually wants to come here instead of going to Las Vegas. because I think those are the moves that are going to help us. And, Zach Wilson will be the icing on the cake. But I'm not going to hold myself hostage to Zach Wilson like I did to Sam Darnold. When he was healthy, he plays. And if he's not healthy and if he's not performing, to the best of his capabilities, then you know what? If the team's awesome, we build around him. We build around a new guy.
Yeah. Those are some great points, and I think like when you opened up your take there, the fact that what the Jets are is we have PTSD, man. When you're looking at the preseason injuries, it goes back to Joe Namath hurt himself in the preseason. Chad Pennington with his broken hand. Sanchez being put back in there when Rex said, let's put him back in the fourth quarter, win the Snoopy Bowl. So and then we see Zach going down. It's like, oh my God, like, what is this? This is the curse of Joe Namath. Like, you sell his soul to the devil himself to win the Super Bowl III. Like, we got PTSD. So then when we see him throwing an interception that reminded us of what what Sam Darnold did, where he couldn't get over, throwing off his back foot and throwing picks and throwing into triple coverage and continuously doing the same thing over and over again, we start thinking, oh my God, is Zach the same thing? Is he going to do the same thing he did last year, overthrowing passes, throwing into, locking into Corey Davis? And we are a scarred fan base. And when we see something bad happen, we run with it. And it's just that's all that is. I think it's it's us just overreacting, like you said and opened it up before. It's preseason, week 1.
Yeah.
Playing,
I just don't think the quarterback's
special.
winning our games. I don't think that he's going to matter. I really like this running game. I really do.
I do too. But we are also, like I was saying, I mean, to cut you off, Lily, but we like the running game because they put the tight ends there in position. They put Breece Hall, drafted him high with Michael Carter. But then when we lose Becton and have to slide your left tackle back over to the right and then bring in Dwayne Brown, who's 37 years old, what's he going to be about? He's starting right now. They finally it's official. He's actually signed the contract about a half hour ago. Richard Smeeney tweeted it. It's official. He's a Jet. So he's at practice right now, but he's not on the field. He's running conditioning drills on the sidelines. So we don't even know what he could do with the left tackle. So we're like, oh, we're going to kill these people with our running game. Like we built around, but we don't even know. We haven't, we got to see what Fant could do on the right side with Barrett Tucker being there on the right side before he had Van Rotten, and then they brought in the doctor. So there's a lot of question marks with the offensive line working as a cohesive unit. So that's where everybody on this team as a fan base is throwing up their, oh my God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And that's why everybody's in here right now, wondering what's going to happen. Like we got, we're all together. We're a scarred fan base who has seen our quarterback go down and our season get flushed down the toilet. Vinny Testaverde in 1999 tripped over the 30-yard line with Achilles after we were just 12-4 the year before. So like when these things happen on a continuous basis, we start saying, here we go again, same old Jets. And then the reactions come out of nowhere, and all of a sudden we're talking about Joe Flacco going 5-0 because we're still hype about the whole team, like you were just saying about finding out if you have a football team. And we trust in our general manager that he is taking consideration of the swirling winds. He is taking into consideration about protecting your quarterback and giving him weapons. And I think he's doing it right. So,
yeah, you're right. And the one saving grace of this team, no matter how many people go down, and I don't know why I don't bring it up enough because I really love this. It's like my favorite part about the Jets. The offensive play calling I really thought it was really well done last year. And I hadn't seen the Jets call plays like that in probably a decade. Think about it. Who have our offensive coordinators been in the last 10 years? And it has led to, sometimes it's not the players. Sometimes it's just opening up holes and scheming people open. You could get your slowest. If Rob Gronkowski could get open at 36 years old, 37 years old, however old he was when he retired, if he could get open, he couldn't even run. But there was a way to scheme him open. And the fact that the Buccaneers are able to do stuff like that is a testament to them just they're almost playing a different football game. How amazing does the talent have to be for the Jets to win games in the last 5 years with the play calling that has, subsided? So,
yeah, no, 100% it's play call. I mean, we saw on Friday with our ones were out there. I mean, granted, the defensive line weren't the ones, but Jeff Ulbrich puts us in his own defense. Dallas Goedert gets wide open when the linebacker should have been in man coverage and not in that zone. It's all about coaching, man. I mean, we saw the first few weeks we were like, oh, our defense doesn't look bad. It looks pretty good. Our offense is what's struggling out there. And then what happens? It took a complete 180 because LaFleur went upstairs, and then we got hit with some injuries with the defense. But Jeff Ulbrich was calling garbage plays. I swear to God, this guy beat what I saw with the ones out there. I wasn't happy on the first drive. Like I said, that zone pass with Goddard scoring that touchdown, I was watching it over and over again. I got double coverage on AJ Brown when you're leaving the tight end wide open, and the linebackers cheat in zone, and now Whitehead's got to leave the running back cheat back to the tight end. By then it's too late, and he didn't wrap him up. He tried hitting him high with the tight end. You shouldn't have done that anyway, but I don't know. I can go into tape all day. Obviously, I didn't watch much of the game because I was sitting there staring at the TV, listening to a space about Zach Wilson. So, but anyway, listen, guys, it's been a great show, a great morning with everybody. But I got to get my dog. He's not feeling well, so I'm going to take him to the vet, and I got to go to the post office. So I'm going to sign off, and I appreciate everybody coming in here. Once again, sign up for the Discord. Pat's got some cool stuff going on. If you're not in there already, we did a Sauce helmet autograph, Michael Carter autograph helmet. There's watch parties and stuff. We watched the game together on there, and I actually went in there with Pat, did a little halftime show. So the Discord's a cool thing. Definitely check it out. Also, we got some cool merch up on the shop. Some T-shirts, some cool designs. We're all working together to come up with some cool shit so you guys can rock. And what other stuff. And there's still a couple tickets left to the Ravens game. So if you're not going and you want to, thinking about it, definitely do it because it's not that expensive. I think it's $160. You're getting access to the suite with us, and some players are going to be in there. Beningo, Damian Woody, T-Rich might pop in and stuff. So there's going to be some cool stuff. So hop over and grab yourself a ticket if you don't got it yet. And if not, we'll be at the games. Come tailgate with us. We're going to do a tailgate at the first game as well. And I'll be at the game on Monday. So if anybody wants to chill at the Falcons game, me, Happy, Anthony, and Chris, who won the giveaway from me and Penny, is going to be there with us. So hit me up with a DM. Love to meet up with you. Drink a Happy Dad, drink a couple beers, whatever, and go watch the game together. They're a little bit free with the seating chart of the preseasons, but love to hang out with everybody. So you guys have a great day, and check out the articles that my man Benny and Defense have been writing on the site. And then don't forget, one more plug, guys. Tonight, PD's show, PD and Tanod, got Matt O'Leary tonight. So check that out. Happy's got a good show tomorrow, Wednesday, not tomorrow. And obviously the OG shows on Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then Friday Night Lights with Joe and Clark and Kenny. So we love you here from the Jet Lounge, and you guys enjoy the rest of the day, the rest of the week, and I'll be catching up with y'all. Love, peace, and bacon grease.